treat me right. I'm a one in a billion, make that a zillion. Cause I'll make a boy cry. Doesn't matter if I stay or go, you'll be wanting more. I can get you real high with sugar on my lips. All it takes is one hit, I'll leave you hypnotized. But don't worry, I'll make sure you don't forget it. But don't worry, I'll make sure you don't forget it. But don't worry, I'll make sure you don't forget it. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. I'll make you scream and I'll make you want it. You can be my ride or die. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. You know I'm solid gold. Worship me at the altar. What you gotta offer? You better do what you're told. I ain't gonna say it twice, and I'm done with playing nice. Yeah, I'll let you take control. Put your hands on my hips and we'll go, baby, go. So magical, you won't ever wanna think about tomorrow. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. I'll make you scream and I'll make you want it. You can be my ride or die. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like You got 24 hours in a day, and I'm so good that I'll make you wanna stay up. I know you heard what they said. I might break your heart, but it's a risk that you should take up. 24 hours in a day, and I'm so good that I'll make you wanna stay up. I know you heard what they said. I might break your heart, but it's a risk that you should take up. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. La la la. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. I'll make you scream and I'll make you want it. You can be my ride or die. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine. Baby, I'll never find a laugh like Baby, I'll never find a laugh like mine.
I ain't no man in the middle. That ain't no man, that's the devil. He acting all confidential. How about that 38 special? I ain't no fucking beginner. Got a veto. Any boy with a gender. He walk around in that denim. The good, the bad, and the random. It's only one he can handle. That boy go bad in the nighttime. That boy got hands on the wrong thighs. I got that Dolce on that Dolce on that Dolce on mine. That boy woke up in the wrong room. 2 girls and 2 bad tattoos. I know what's up and what went down up in room 432. Desperado, you son of a bitch. Chicago, let it up at the Ritz. And I didn't sign up for this. You fucking son of a white thighs. So pulling up where you at with champagne in a Louisville bag. I know you didn't sign up for this. You fucking son of a bitch. I ain't no dame, I'm the devil. The side of me, she ain't Jessie. I got some plans of redemption, some other things I won't mention. You're gonna fucking remember. That girl roll up in a G5, lay back and sharpen my knife. I cut it off like Lorena, I'll take what's left of your pride. I think that judge would agree, you fucked up fucking with me. You know a passionate woman that made the worst in me. Desperado, you son of a bitch. Chicago, let it up at the Ritz. And I didn't sign up for this. You fucking son of a white thighs. So pulling up where you at with champagne in a Louisville bag. I know you didn't sign up for this. You fucking son of a bitch. Ooh.
What is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here for 30 mins. Why is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here. I need my things. I'm outside Pets at home trying to find my dealer. He's in a Vauxhall Zafira, custom rims and a half a litre engine, but I just keep forgetting. I kinda wanna bell him, but I've already belled him. He gets annoyed with how much I bell him. I just wanna tell him, what is the ETA? I've been here pretending to be on my phone. I got zero data, I'm scrolling notes. Pets at home, but they don't let pets in. I spent 15 minutes on settings. I'm in the Nelm just looking at bedding for a single bed that I rent in Epping. I'm dreading for him to come, but don't wanna text him. What is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here for 30 mins. Why is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here. I need my things. Where's this guy, man? Let's get to it. Like, what the fuck is he doing? I see him speeding, driving fast, overtaking cars like Max did Lewis. Should I mention dangerous driving? I think I'll just remind him. He almost killed the guy behind him, but he sells things that I need buying. He said sorry to keep you waiting. I understand that it's raining. I said no need to explain it. I know that your job is draining. He said nah man, I'm not complaining. I've been sat at home just gaming. The new God of War's amazing, and I've been dabbling in. Why is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here for 30 mins. Why is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here. I need my things. Why is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here for 30 mins. Why is this dealer? Taking a piss, I've been standing here.
Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he too much to believe. You know he always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his t-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm, I say baby. He got another one that just say hey. Whatever Sunday afternoon he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet. Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he the best driver in the land. He say that he learned to race a stock car by running shine out of Alabama. Oh, the demolition derby and the figure eight, it's easy money in the bank compared to running from the man in Oklahoma City with a 500-gallon tank. Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he too much to believe. You know he always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his t-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm, I say baby. He got another one that just say hey. And Sunday afternoon he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet. He runs so cool, that racing fool, he don't know what fear's about. He do 130 mile an hour, smiling at the camera with a toothpick in his mouth. He got a girl back home named Dixie Dawn, but he got honeys all along the way. And you ought to hear him screaming for the dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet. Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy, he too much to believe. You know he always got an extra pack of cigarettes rolled up in his t-shirt sleeve. He got a tattoo on his arm, I say baby. He got another one that just say hey. But every Sunday afternoon he is a dirt track demon in a 57 Chevrolet.
Right now you're mine, oh mine. Giving your mine, oh mine. I love that you shake when I ravage your skin. It's so easy to bite with your hands pinned. Shadows dancing on the sheets. If you obey, I might give you a treat. Right now you're mine, oh mine. Giving your mine, oh mine. You look so good there on your knees. Such a good girl, knows how to please. Look at me, look me in the eyes. Forget yourself, surrender your mind. Right now you're mine, oh mine. Giving your mine, oh mine.
swim, watch me drown, pull me in, down, down, down. Make me swim, watch me drown, pull me in, down, down, down. Make me swim, watch me drown, pull me in, down, down, down. I've been losing touch, I'm breaking up. One by one, these threads I held, they come undone.
I like the way you kiss me. I can tell you miss me. I can tell it is. Not trying to be romantic. I hit it from the back just so you don't get attached. I like the way you kiss me. I can tell you miss me. I can tell it is. Not trying to be romantic. I hit it from the back just so you don't get attached.
You bite my lip just for the taste. You're all you need. I'm on the case. You take the heat and with such grace. You say you don't, but here you stay.
You said you're scared I'll let you down. Well, stick around and you'll find out. But don't you wanna make me proud? 'Cause I'm so proud, baby, I'm so proud of you.
I like the way you kiss me. I can tell you miss me. I can tell it is. Not trying to be romantic. I hit it from the back just so you don't get attached. I like the way you kiss me. I can tell you miss me. I can tell it is. Not trying to be romantic. I hit it from the back just so you don't get attached. Not trying to be romantic. I hit it from the back just so you don't get it.
My heart beats in patterns with a broken sound. You're the only one that can calm me down. My head spins in circles, so I'm dizzy now. All of this time I should have figured it out. I'm a free animal, free animal. I'm a free animal, free animal. is a maybe, and maybe is a no out in LA. I'm taking my time on the East Coast when always a no. And if you fake, it'll show. Calling out Mayday. Shit didn't happen in my heyday. Sipping top shelf, but I'm still broke. And mama said no, save a little money, let it grow. I keep coming down, 'cause everyone says that they're okay. Fake smiles can't make it past Tuesday. Fighting my personal crusade. Overwhelmed over due dates. Can't wait for my doomsday. Saying I'm okay. If I make it, will it make me hate it? Wish I could go back to the basics. Overwhelmed over due dates. Can't wait for my doomsday. Have not slept in a week now. Haven't breathed in a month. And it's taking every fiber of my being just to not give up. Laugh it off, coffee cup. Not enough chosen drug. Call the cops, need to stop, 'cause I keep coming down. Everyone says that they're okay. Fake smiles can't make it past Tuesday. Fighting my personal crusade. Overwhelmed over due dates. Can't wait for my doomsday. Saying I'm okay. If I make it, will it make me hate it? Wish I could go back to the basics. Overwhelmed over due dates. Can't wait for my doomsday. Hope one day I'll find a way to put my feet up and know I could be enough. Hope one day I'll find a way to put my feet up and know I could be enough. 'Cause everyone says that they're okay. Fake smiles can't make it past Tuesday. Fighting my personal crusade. Overwhelmed over due dates. Can't wait for my doomsday. Saying I'm okay. If I make it, will it make me hate it? Wish I could go back to the basics. Overwhelmed over due dates. Can't wait for my doomsday.
Fall in love with the world. Feel alive, forced to be a hero when I was left behind. Grew up in an instant to survive. It's a miracle, the crowd all screams. Everyone's so proud of me. But I'm a graveyard, oh, I'm in deep. Miss the person I never got to be. Never got to be wild like the horses, naive like a child. Horrors of the world came knocking. My feet were in the grass, dancing through the trees. I saw it when heaven came falling. Cried cracks of thunder, saw the flood appear. Swallowed everything I held near. Should have been wild like the horses, but I had to leave my childhood in the dirt 6 feet below me. Never saw it coming, now I can't relax. I'm all hypervigilance, under attack. 'Cause I know a secret my friends don't understand. Safety's an illusion, fate is all chance. It's a miracle, the crowd all screams. Everyone's so proud of me. But I'm a graveyard, oh, I'm in deep. Miss the person I never got to be. Never got to be wild like the horses, naive like a child. Horrors of the world came knocking. My feet were in the grass, dancing through the trees. I saw it when heaven came falling. Cried cracks of thunder, saw the flood appear. Swallowed everything I held near. Should have been wild like the horses, but I had to leave my childhood in the dirt 6 feet below me. I was way too young. I was way too young. Way too. I was way too young. I was way too young. Way too. How could you
dreams, bad as it seems, I can trip my mind to a new location. Heartbreak, made a mistake, we can fix this, good as new. She speaks, it makes me weak, every word drips out, no explanation. Lips shake, she made a mistake, now I don't know what to do.
And to the internet. Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Here we are. Brisbane Logic versus Stormwolves Division 2. Week 3 going into at this point. I'm Corey, otherwise known as Octorombus. I'll be the colorcaster and broadcaster of tonight, and I'm joined with Cyber. Would you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, I'm Cyber. I have my own volume on through your stream.
Oh,
Let me fix that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Cyber, and I'm in America where it is currently like, I don't know, negative bajillion Celsius. I don't understand your guys' temperature scaling, so I was a little slow to get here, like a cold-blooded reptile, but I'm here, I'm ready for some more Oceanic League of Legends action, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, good. I'm just quickly modifying some things in the background because I'm also hearing two of you, so I think I've got a loop somewhere amongst my bajillion tabs open, as is tradition at this point. But Cyber, have you been keeping up with like any of the kind of Division 2, any of that kind of stuff?
I haven't as of yet looked into Division 2. Unfortunately, I did have the pleasure to cast a Division 1 game back in week 1 or week 2, and that was really exciting. The Oceanic brand of League of Legends is a lot of brash trash talk, a lot of questionable plays, so a lot of really fun stuff. I'm sure Division 2 is
Give me 1 second, Cyber. It seems you've suddenly gone quiet on Discord. This might be on me though. Give me 1 second. Let me mess around with settings, see if I've accidentally sent you off to the void somewhere. Sorry, everybody. Do you want to quickly... Can any of the stream currently hear me? Can any of the stream currently hear me? Okay, you can hear me, but yeah, not Cyber. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me try and fix that. I'm not sure what's hooked up here. Yeah. Yes, there we go. I can hear you now. It should be through Discord, but on Discord it says that you're not speaking and you're not coming up green as you're speaking. So I think Discord's not grabbing your microphone. Maybe Video Ninja is like stealing it from Discord?
What about now?
Say something
Can
again?
I be heard on Discord now?
Yes, I can hear you on Discord now.
Hello.
Yes, okay. Chat, can you hear Cyber now?
Oh boy.
All
set?
I'm
up,
looking at chat. It looks like it's a no. I'm not too sure. Okay, yes.
Damn.
People can hear. People can hear. We're good. Alrighty.
Okay. Look, we gotta have a couple minutes of that every start of every stream. It's just tradition at this point. That one actually went fairly smoothly. We got through it pretty quick, but
yes, no.
The point I was making before technical issues so rudely interrupted me, is that I haven't had a huge opportunity yet to dive into Division 2 here at OBL, but I did have the opportunity to cast a Division 1 game a couple weeks back, and if we're getting more of that, but maybe magnified due to, you know, being at a slightly lower tier of competition, maybe a little bit more chaos, a little bit more craziness, that's the kind of League of Legends I love. I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like watching Division 2 is always an absolute treat. Not that, like, not to throw shade on like the Division 1, which is also an amazing watch, but in Division 2 you see a lot of interesting decisions and fights which can lead to some very crazy moments where just everybody hands up and just in sheer celebration. In a moment, I'll get us to walk through some of the teams that we're looking at tonight. We are seeing Brisbane Logic face off against Stormwolves, which is always a these two teams are going into this quite strong, actually, so...
Yeah, and I do gotta say, I'm not sure what the inspiration on Stormwolves is. It feels very, not derivative, because that has a derogatory connotation, but very inspired by, of course, probably the most famous Oceanic League of Legends organization of all time, being the Dire Wolves, so I really do, I like the lineage there. I was a big OS Tier 1 guy for a long time. I used to co-stream LCO and OPL before that, so happy to see that the legends are still having their influence on the youth and, you know, the people playing for fun and keeping OS League alive. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, exactly. Which, with that, let's quickly go in and take a look at Brisbane Logic. I'll just quickly transition us over. It's, again, with Division 2, a lot of this comes down to maybe not the most, like, meta sort of picks, as we can see on, where is it? There we go. So Brisbane Logic, in the top lane, we do have Stephen Smith. I've been taking a look at his kind of like OPGG and what he's recently been doing and what his masteries are. We could be looking in across these games to maybe see a Jax or a Garen in top lane. At some point, I would definitely put my money on seeing a Jax. He's been playing quite an amount of that, as company with a lot of like Malphite and Olaf and stuff. So Stephen Smith has a pretty tank slash bruisery kind of top laners here, which is what you want to see. Odd pick in with the Kayle being a late game kind of hyper carry that can occur. But I can only assume that we'd see the Kayle come out if mid laner would be playing something more bruisery lit, like a Galio or something. But from that, we kind of look towards the jungle, Brisbane Logic's Nike. Again, playing a lot of Jarvan 4 and Nocturne, a bit more assassiny than everything else. Accompanied with a Zyra and an Ivern, a bit more of a support of role in the jungle. And Viego, depending on what the enemy team is. And Bronzon, Cyber, would you want to give us a rundown on what we might be seeing on Bronzon?
Yeah, so it looks like we have a very interesting mid lane pool. A lot of the more utility off-meta stuff. You got the Vigar, big CC capabilities with the giant baby cage. You got the Morgana, which is a possible flex pick, as well as the Annie, a little bit more focused around buffing and protecting teammates, throwing out lots of CC. Actually, a really cool champ pool. You got that Ahri and the LeBlanc just sort of like snuck in there, like, oh yeah, I could also play the AP Assassins and just really pop off. So looking across the board, this is just a really fun set of champions, and I hope we get to see this. I look at Stephen Smith in the top lane, I see some of those like Gods champions that like Adam popularized at Worlds. You got the Garen and the Olaf. I'm always pogged out of my gourd to see those guys up in the top lane. BL Nike with the Nocturne and the Viego, the hard carry. I just want as much action as possible from all three of these players. I want my top side more or less running it down at all times.
Yeah, like, good throwout with BDS Adam, like you were saying during the like the kind of Girls Esports. He made some very entertaining to watch kind of top plays, especially with the kind of the Garen teleports into like behind like enemy lines of the bot lane and just walked out with like a triple kill at one point. It's like I'd love to kind of see that, especially in Division 2, going over then to the bot lane where we have Brisbane Logic's Anime in as the ADC. A lot of Jhin, Ashe, and Misfortune, which I'm just going to quickly throw us back. Please take note, everyone watching, BL Nike. big mastery on Jarvan 4th. Going back to anime, you're seeing the Misfortune there. One of these games we could be seeing a kind of the Misfortune and Jarvan get played, which are very good synergy with each other. Jarvan going in, ulting, and the Misfortune's bullet wave kind of sweeping across and doing a significant amount of damage. Jhin and Ashe, a bit more utility role ADCs, followed up with just Kai'Sa and Varus, which are always some pretty safe pick.
Yeah, it's I've been casting tier 3 in amateur for many, many years, and one thing that I've always sort of gleaned and continued to hammer home to teams is that at this level, the simpler the execution you can get to, the better. So when I see these wombo combo sort of synergies available in the champion pools of these players, like you mentioned the Misfortune Jarvan, just throw them in the Cataclysm, put the bullet time on top of it, easy peasy, press your R's, Bronzodia. That's always a happy thing to see. So yeah, we'll be looking out for some of these synergies in draft from the logic. And I think it's a solid game plan if we can get a lot of those just simple to execute press R type compositions.
Which, again, Division 2, we kind of strive on that. The only kind of downside of that synergy and that kind of combo is that it tends to make a very one-dimensional game. You can kind of read what... Like, if you see the Misfortune, the Jarvan, a team fight that is going to break out, you know what you're to expect. The moment Jarvan goes in, they're probably going to throw out the ult, so it can make it a bit more easier to draft against if you can see those two champions come out and maybe get like a bit of a dashing champion or something like that in response as the ADC. And then, yeah, Honda Civic, support, a fair amount of engaged champions. I was looking before, I think it's Leona, Nautilus, as well as maybe a bit of Braum, I can't remember. But in terms of like mastery, we're seeing Yumi, Bard, Emilio, again, very kind of support, utility, bot laners, a bit of Enchanty.
A support player's support player. The prototypical,
Exactly.
I'm here to buff up my team and make sure they go out and do the best damn job they can.
Yeah. And then with this, we'll go and have a quick peek at what the Stormwolves are looking at. Which in the top lane, we have a Dirty Tiprat, a fellow member of the staff here at the OBL. So, Tiprat, play well. Otherwise,
Nobody
I'm
told
going
me
to
I'd be
bag you
casting
out.
Tip tonight.
Well, surprise.
Oh my god, this is a special treat. I can't wait to see what Tip cooks up for us. And you know what? I'm loving the champion pull from Tip here too. Shen, Volibear, Scion, Urgot, meatball champions. This is based. I'm really happy to see this pool.
Yeah, which like in the top lane, you've got the champions that you kind of want and need in the kind of team fights. So a lot of these champions are able to go toe to toe in the lane, and then when it comes to a team fight, actually bring out like a good utility. I've seen his Renekton and Urgot; they are very strong, and top lane is going to be definitely a role that we would probably want to watch across game 1 and game 2, and perhaps game 3. Then in the jungle, you've got Dax, which we're seeing Ivan, Shogarth, Lee Sin, Amumu, and Vi. I just want to outline the Shogarth there in the jungle. He does play that very well looking back at his history, but I don't think we'll see it tonight in this game, but I thought I'd throw it in there as it's a fascinating pick to have in the jungle.
Yeah, it's like one of those litmus tests for a meta, right? Whenever Cho'Gath jungle actually approaches like mainstream viability, it's probably like an alarm bell. There's something wrong with the metagame at the moment because, I mean, I think back to the days like 2018, 2019, Predator junglers, Cho'Gath just running at you Mach 5, throwing down that Rupture. The Void Spikes are bang, bang, boom, you're dead. So I hope we don't see a Cho'Gath jungle come out tonight, but we like build variety. We like fun. I'm sure it'll be entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, and then mid lane, not gonna lie, looking at that, I feel like we're about to cast an LCK game, like Kickman, Syndra, Azir, Ari, Yone, Hui. These are very strong sort of meta champions, at least of the of last season. We're in a new season, so you know things can change up and stuff like that. But these teams very good team fights as well as lane presence. So it's good to see that we're seeing some more traditional esports kind of play here. We'll run over to the bot lane quickly, which then we're looking at Why Do I Exist as the ADC. Playing, again, there is Ash there accompanied with Caitlyn. A bit more utility ADCs, minus Caitlyn's a bit more of a poker one, to be fair, but Ash, again, being the bit of a slow CC as well as accompanied with a lot of damage. And then the hyper carries of Kai'Sa, Jinx, and Ezreal, which we can, I'd love to kind of see play through.
Yeah, it'd be an absolute pleasure to see, I think. It's interesting, too, Kai'Sa being at the top of that list, given the sort of meta call that's developed over the course of the most recent patch that came in. What are we on? 26.4, 26.3, whichever one it is. Kai'Sa now going for this like sort of weird build where she transitions into full AP on hit with the Dusk and Dawn and the Rage Blade into the late game, shooting out these Void Seekers for 1 million damage and doing this very consistent DPS. I'm really hoping we see Why Do I Exist on the Kai'Sa tonight, because it would be a very nice showcase for something that's very goofy about League of Legends right now.
Yeah, the Kai'Sa in play, it'd be very fun to watch. My personal favorite, which I would really want to see, is actually Ezreal come out into the mix. I haven't seen too many of them, and I can always respect a player that can do well on Ezreal. I've played him a couple times. I'll be honest, I can't play him. I suck at him. So seeing an Ezreal come out, I just am fascinated watching, especially if they can go in, get triple kills, and just perform super, super well.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I can't play Ezreal very well either, but it doesn't stop me from playing him. One of my highest mastery champions. Play him a lot mid and top because I hate the AD carry role, and I'm definitely not good at him, but it doesn't stop me. League of Legends is a for fun game. You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, and then with that in the support lane, because I should probably get onto that one. We're seeing Toot play the support lane. A good fair amount of enchanters is his highest masteries, with Seraphine and Nami coming through. Or maybe not highest masteries. I think Nami he had been playing quite often, and he's been training on Nami, so we might be able to see a Nami come out tonight. Seraphine, another strong pick. A lot of kind of lane CC and poke ability, accompanied with Leona and Nautilus as good engaged champions in the kind of support role, which can play very, very well with champions like Jinx and Kai'Sa. And Zyra, which is mixed feelings on that one being in the like support. They're still very, very good, but the plants always tend to have kind of a large amount of push-in pressure in the in lane, so it can sometimes be a bit of a detriment.
Yeah, it's interesting. Zyra, I feel like, is in a very weak spot right now because she sort of has this thing where she was originally mostly played mid in her, way back in the day when I was young, and many of our viewers, I'm sure, weren't even born yet. Then she really mainly became a support. Then she kind of fell out of the meta. They buff her for jungle. Occasionally, she's like hyper meta in jungle, but then otherwise we just don't see her. I think at this lower level of play, there's a lot more breadth in what you can make work, so I'd be excited to see Zyra, because it's not one I get to see very often. It's not in the meta for jungle right now. It's not one of the more common supports, so I would actually like to see some of those plants going down, attacking real fast, getting frenzied. I think it would be a nice change of pace.
Yeah, and I'll bring us back towards the camera. Teams are about to get ready to go into Game 1. Again, this is, I believe, the final game of Week 4. So each game that passes and each series, we are getting closer and closer towards the play-in and eventually the final stage. It's just been a blast watching across all these games, all these players and these teams, and really go that extra mile. And we're seeing a lot of improvement in kind of skills and ranks across a lot of kind of Division 2. Environment that they've been in with more or less a professional atmosphere really forced a lot of these players to level up their skills. So it's when we get towards that finals, watching the kind of macro that emerges towards the objective fights and the tower dives and stuff. They're gonna go back to solo queue and they're just gonna smurf. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's like taking a trip to the hyperbolic time chamber. It's one of the most fun parts of getting to put on Tier 3 and amateur leagues, of course, is this idea of getting to give anybody who wants a taste of it that sort of pro experience. And it's a completely different game, right, than solo queue. I have a little bit of competitive 5v5 experience myself. I actually played a lot of competitive 3v3 way back in the day when that was a mode. It's just unfortunately not anymore, but yeah, it's a great experience, and I'm very happy to, get to be here to help these players not only experience the fun of playing it, but having their games casted, and get to taste sort of a different realm of League of Legends. It's a little less toxic, it's a little less, solo queue, high emotion, just more about hanging with the bros, having a good time, and trying to be the best version of yourself.
And all those kind of points, it's really drives the core of the kind of backyard league atmosphere, is that it's bringing the kind of competitive scene towards more low-level players and kind of getting this just complete experience. And I'm glad that we're able to be here to run this kind of event for you, and to again be sitting here casting tonight's game for you. We're looking at maybe a ready any second now, hopefully. I want to see the game, so. But yeah, it's with Brisbane
I think we're
Logic.
all excited.
Yeah, exactly. With I think whereabouts, I've got the standings somewhere here. Give me a second.
We will stand amongst the teams in the standings, make some sense of the standings, sort it all out. I wonder if there's a soup. That's my favorite part of any given league standings at any time, is all the teams clumped together in the soup. That's what we call it in the LCS. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of LCS still these days. Kind of a dying league, but that's always been one of my favorite terminologies here in North America that we coined for when all the teams in the middle kind of clump together and it's hard to tell like who's really the cream of the crop, who's the bottom of the bots. They're all just in the soup there. That reminds me, I made soup at work tonight and I left it. Gosh darn it. All right, well, that's a mental note for later, as I'll bring my soup home from work tomorrow. In the meanwhile, hopefully we can get a closer look at the standings and get on into draft any second here.
Yeah,
What did you have for dinner tonight, my friend? While we're on the subject.
Yes, well, honestly, I realized I probably should have ate before doing this, so about 4 or 5 minutes on the pre-stream, went microwave some Domino's pizza in the microwave and scoffed that thing down in about 30 to 40 seconds, just so I was ready to be on air. So
My man.
hopefully afterwards I might have
That's
a
the
bit
way
more
we do
dinner,
it.
but for now that'll get me through to game 2, whereas during the AFK I can run away and munch on something.
I mean, that's brain food right there. That's energy. That's carbohydrates. You're ready for a good cast. We're going to knock it out of the park. I absolutely believe in the Domino's approach. And plus, you live in a country that's not the United States, so your fast food is like actual food. It's not like this homogenous sort of goo like they're legally allowed to serve us here. So you probably actually did get some real nutrition out of that slice of pizza. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hopefully, I'd like to think so. Of which, if you're in the United States currently, what time is it currently? Your time zone.
It is 3:09 in the AM for me.
We
it
appreciate you being here.
I'm happy to be here. Like I said, I've always loved the Oceanic League scene. Big part of when I was coming up as a caster and amateur was that I got some opportunities around OPL and LCO. And yeah, I love a lot of the players that have come out of this ecosystem. A lot of the talent I followed religiously back when Pentanet was at the top of the LCO and they kind of made their MSI run. Always happy to get back to the amateur scene here in OS. Fantastic time. And I work nights, so I'm up anyway. It works out fine for me.
Yeah, okay. If you work nights, at least then that kind of balances it out with you're not staying up to an ungodly hour for no reason. You have to work in 4 or 5 hours.
Nah, it works out. It works out just fine. Besides, watching League of Legends, casting League of Legends is always a fantastic time no matter what you're doing. If I wasn't up casting League of Legends, I'd be up playing League of Legends. And that would make me frustrated. That would make me unhappy. But casting League of Legends, that's a lot more fun. So really, you guys are doing me a favor.
Well, and with this, let us go over into the Champion Select.
Wonderful.
Okay, let's quickly. And why is it not working? Hang on. File connect.
I don't know why we expected anything less or anything more. It's the first game. We'll get it sorted, and we're gonna have a damn good time doing it. In the meanwhile, as we're trying to get the draft up on screen, I'll just ramble and yap a little bit, as I love to do, about some of the picks that I hope to see come out based on our pregame show and the sort of picks that we have available to us. I want to see the Garen. I want to see Funny Spinny Man make health bar disappear with R. I really, really want to see the AP Kaisa. That has been such a fun pick. That is one that I'm definitely tunneled in on, so I hope we get that coming on through on the side of the Wolves, as we will have the draft eventually.
Any
I do
second.
believe.
Hang on.
I'm putting all my energy out like a spirit bomb towards putting the draft on screen. I think it might behoove us to take a moment to go to the break screen so we can sort of get this started. Oh, no, we have a draft.
I
We
can
have
do
an
it on the
in-game
fly.
draft.
Alrighty,
Oh my
so
goodness gracious, look at that.
I'll quickly run it back. So, Stormwolf side, we're seeing Shogarth as well as Zyra and Jin getting banned out in the first 3 bans. Brisbane Logic in response, banning away Victor, Syndra, and Oriana, targeting that bin lane to get it out. Stormwolves, we're looking at a Dr. Mundo come through for Dax, which is Stormwolves jungler, accompanied by a Scion in the top lane and a Hui in the mid lane. Brisbane Logic side, we're seeing a Ari come through on Bronzon, as well as Jarvan on Nike, and Trundle on Steven Smith, which is the top laner, which I should see Stormwolves ban out Misfortune here, which is currently left open as Brisbane Logic has picked in that J4. Stormwolves deciding to pick to lock away Smolder.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed with this draft so far. Not that it's not competent, it's actually very competent. I feel like I'm watching like a standard pro meta game. Where's the funny picks? Scion, Dr. Mundo, big giant meatball tanks? Come on, I want to see something ha-ha funny, as it will be the Caitlyn that locked in here now for the Wolves as well on the blue side, about to round out, so we'll see what Logic's counterpick in the support role, I suppose, is going to be, unless that's a Trundle flex to support. Saving the counterpick for support, again, very actually common in the highest levels of play, not something you normally see here in lower level amateur. So wow, Karma Caitlyn tryhards, lane dominance, and it will be the Seraphine counter at the end of it all.
Yeah, I just want to point out, so again, Misfortune not getting locked in, Brisbane Logic going with the J4, not choosing Misfortune response. They're kind of playing half their kind of deck if they wanted to choose that synergy, but the Ashe, again, going there for a bit of the utility and a bit of slow in the bot lane, kind of the synergizing well with Seraphine. And then on Stormwolves, I know Toot, he plays a lot of Milio, I would find. So I'm going into this, I was thinking of who would I go in my head. This is why I'm not the kind of coach. I would have drafted incorrectly, because I would have probably thrown in Milio with the Caitlyn there. You've got the range already there. Emphasize that point, make it a strong point, which they have done prior. But yeah, so here we go. We're going into the start of game 1 now, which, yeah, Brisbane Logic versus Stormwolves. Everyone, get excited.
Yeah, it should be a good one. As to your point with the Milio, I think another sort of upside in that direction of picking the Milio is that you want to pick for comfort a lot of the time in Division 3. You don't necessarily need to have the, well, it's called Division 2 here, Tier 3 amateur, you know what I mean. The, semi pro League of Legends. A lot of the times picking for comfort is going to generally be a better bet for you than, picking 5v5 meta, strongest, pro stuff. And I'm actually a little bit sad because a lot of the sort of more comfort skewed picks that we were looking at in the pregame show were fun champions. And, these are the guys we see all the time that have come through so far for game 1. So hopefully after the Fearless comes through in game 2 and game 3, if we're lucky enough to see one, we'll get a little bit more variety, a little bit more of that wacky stuff that we all come to Division 3 games for.
Yeah, we're just waiting out the spectator delay here, so hence why we're back on screen, everybody. Hello. In about 2 minutes, we'll get straight back into the game, and yeah, a lot of these kind of champions that got locked in, it's like you said, it's pretty bettery. There's actually kind of like a bit of a lack of fun here. I do like the Trundle pick coming through, to be fair. I am always entertained by Trundle just ice pillar, running them down and just clubbing the absolute hell out of them with the ice club. So it's just
We love to
entertaining to
bonk,
watch,
don't we, folks?
Yeah, there's a dopamine surge
And-
that comes with that.
People look down on Trundle, right? They sort of see it as this very simplistic champion. I'll just right click him to death, point and click R, Q, auto reset. Just, he's a troll. He's a simple guy. He's kind of a simple champ, but there's a lot of skill expression that comes through with timing good pillar interrupts. I was actually watching today while I was at work, the LCS, and we saw Inspired lock in Trundle and get some really sick, like, Thresh Lantern interrupts with the pillar popping out. So, yeah, Trundle to me is actually a very exciting champion to watch, and a very smart counterpick into the meatballs that we have on the side of the Wolves in that Dr. Mundo, in that Scion. Riot is sort of incentivized going away from stacking HP towards stacking resists with the addition of the Protoplasm Harness this season. Very, very essential tank item that we're going to probably see on both of these champions. And Trundle R steals those resists, turns them to paper. I think it's a very smart thematic pick here from the Brisbane Logic.
Yeah, and going in with the kind of the champions that they've gone and locked in here, we're seeing on Stormwolf's side probably a very strong back to front presence. The Scion, the Dr. Mundo going in, getting that strong engage. Then the Caitlyn, the Hui, very long range kind of characters. Caitlyn with the highest auto attack zone in the game, and then Hui being able to pretty much cast spells off screen. And Karma coming through with the Mantrid kind of speed boosts and the Mantrid shields. It's a very strong team that Stormwolves is going in with here. And we are just about to load into the game.
I will say, the Logic, they have given themselves sort of this, like, war of attrition, sort of like survival scenario. I don't know if you've ever seen Naked and Afraid, where it's wonderful reality show where they just drop people in the woods, no clothes, and you gotta survive. When I look at this bot lane matchup, Caitlyn Karma, very lane dominant, gonna do a lot of damage, but when you look at the utility that Seraphine and Nash bring, the big AoE shielding, all the slows, all the stuns, if they can just weather that storm down the bot lane until they can get some clothes for themselves, survive a little while, they are going to be very, very effective in this game as we are into it. And I don't know about you, one of my favorite changes in this season is how quick the game starts. So we'll have a little bit of shenanigans, a nice little invade here as two between Bronzon and Nike to get that ward down, but the minions are going to be crashing real soon.
Yeah, the minion kind of spawn rate changes have really kind of shown their presence and more or less has killed out going for a full early invade, as a lot of the other lanes now suffer in that kind of early engage. We are seeing the kind of Trundle in the top lane, and which is a good pick into Scion here, so gonna be a pretty good watch. Top lane probably not going to kill each other for a while at the very least. And the bot
if there's one thing I've learned, it's never count on the traditional sort of matchup knowledge in top lane. I don't know. When it comes to Division 2, I can smell the blood in the water. I expect somebody to get smacked down with somebody else's oversized weapon in that top lane in short order.
that is a very good point, actually. So, seeing a bit of a trader can occur in the top lane. Bottom lane is probably just about to get level 2.
Yeah, popped actually very simultaneously there. It's just going to be the exchange of poke back and forth. Both of these lanes pretty good at, just sending out that non-committal poke damage. As we will see two really angling for the push here, using that Mantra R on the wave. But things are staying very even. Neither side really conceding the push as of yet.
Yeah, we're seeing Brisbane Logic kind of come through. They've seen Mundo is on red due to the vision that was granted by the ward placed up around here. So we're probably going to see yeah, Brisbane Logic kind of bot laners retreat towards their kind of tower, play safe. They know the Mundo is going to be near sometime soon, so nice kind of like little retreat back into the tower there. And mid lane kind of spells getting casted, throwing out towards each other. Mana equals about 40%.
Yeah, you know, it's that early game stage. Everybody's feeling each other out. They're waiting to see where the opportunities for lethal damage will come in. I do find it interesting that it will be actually the reset from Nike here away from that bot crab. So it looks like Dax, if, you know, the confidence is there, can go right from this bot crab to top, get the double crab off, be in a very good spot moving forward into this game.
Yeah, it was good to see the Dax really kind of using that vision priority in the enemy's blue, where Jarvan was backing in vision. So Mundo knows just to quickly walk around the corner, throw an axe, and interrupt that back, which is good to see. A pretty good macro play. That 8-second delay lets Mundo go towards top and get double scuttle.
Yeah, it helps his tempo a lot too, right? Because he had already full cleared, so he was just waiting on that Gromp respawn. Being able to have that extra time to do the double crab means he's always moving, gets a great reset out on that Giant's Belt, and now he's going to move right back into his top side and start the full clear all over again. As Nike was hovering, fishing for something, but that Hui, as you mentioned before, can play with a lot of range, doesn't really have to commit with where the wave was, really wasn't going to bear fruit, as we saw. Jarvan, you know, with that lack of tempo, had to wait for his Krug respawn, had nothing to do besides just kind of hover around, leech some XP off of his mid laner, and then go running back up to the full clear.
Yeah, top lane, it looked like Sion had pretty much pushed out Trundle into a reset. He's responding now, and it looked like a bit of a mid lane crash with Stormwolves lane pushing inwards. Oh, teleport coming out from Sion here as a respond, and back to the bot lane. Brisbane Logic really kind of getting a lot of poke onto what do exists here, so yeah, no blood in the water just yet.
It's like two pseudo enchanters / pseudo poke champions against two pseudo poke ADCs, so it's like there's going to be a lot of damage exchange, there's going to be a lot of healing done, but ultimately it's just like sort of two waves crashing against each other and all that force just bouncing back out, petering out, and like nothing really swings in terms of momentum down in that bot lane. So it's actually been a surprisingly quiet early game. I'm really proud of and admiring the restraint we've seen from the Logic and from the Wolves so far in this early game. Normally you have somebody running it down by now. Steven Smith is trying to, like, you know, trap tip wrap, but he's not going to be able to break that freeze. That Sion just throws his big booty in front of the wave and says, I will hold this right here, thank you very much.
Yeah, Dragon now spawning, so we could be seeing kind of teams look to get vision, look to get priority on it. Dax out of position here, but he understands that he needs to be in this area in case Brisbane Logic does go for a Dragonfly. Bit of a fight happening in the top lane. Tiprat getting a look like a fully charged Q onto Steven Smith there, so and that pretty much throws Steven Smith back into a fountain for a quick recall.
It's just it's a little boring, isn't it? It's like, come on, where's the bloodlust? Where's the action? I came here for kills, but it's not going to happen. As you mentioned, that first Drake is up, but neither team really wanting to commit to it. They both shuffled around, got some wards down on their respective sides of the river, but nothing to actually force these teams into each other yet. Everybody is happy to keep on clearing. As we noted earlier, Dax with the sort of the lead in the tempo, the Mundo, very fast clear. Gonna be up about 3 camps here over the likes of Nike, so that's really the only sizable advantage I could see is the XP advantage for Mundo coming through. Did hit 6 first, but no significant gold advantage anywhere. No real use of the tempo from the side of the Logic. It looks like we are just handshaking a whole lot of farming.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to just kind of play it out for the long con, wait for maybe the first strong components to come through, the first strong items. We've got the BF sword coming through on the kind of Caitlyn here. And Tiamat coming through onto Trundle, so yeah, both sides, they're kind of just not, they know that they're not going to be able to kill each other yet. Cyber, if I can, I'm just going to get you to hold down the fort quickly. I'm just going to quickly restart one of my background programs. The teams seem to
like
be
a plan.
flipped around on the top of the stream, so I'm going to attempt to fix that.
Sounds like a plan. So, seems like I might have been calling the teams by the wrong name this entire time, but we will have some action coming through, but it's sort of this fake action that we've been commenting on this whole time, right? Those two meatballs, they don't seem that interested in dueling to the death. Instead, it's going to be sort of the sustain of the big Soul Furnace shields from Tip and, all the wave healing from the passive of Steven Smith. It means that these tanks really can't do much of anything to each other besides stare down and smack their big hands against each other, as we will finally see an engagement. Chant Crystal Arrow, Flag and Drag, Cataclysm, but oh my god, why do I exist with the flash out? The volley did not connect from Anime, and that is a very, very heartbreaking moment coming through, but now Dax, maybe in a bad position. The shield will be popped, the ult is there through the exhaust, will flash, gets the shield from Toot, and now it will be the Mantra W to find Toot some more health as Dax finally pops that ultimate, and I cannot believe that everybody on the side of the Wolves walks out of that one.
That was a crazy fight that I just, walking out of a lot of summoners there, a lot of ults getting casted and thrown out there, but still, no first blood on either side. That's very, very impressive.
I mean, the Logic will come and collect the prize that they came for. They get the Drake off of that tempo swing, right? They blew a lot of important summoners there. They forced the Wolves off the map, but now it's looking like the cross-map attempt coming through from Dax, but you don't have Prio in the top lane. It looks like it's not going to be the contest, though. Very good use to just say, all right, we lost the Drake, we lost a lot of summons, but we can at least use the opportunity, and now it will be Steven Smith going on to Tip, but again, these guys, they don't do very much to each other. As it will be the ult coming through from Tip, it's going to miss. Now it's the 2v1 situation. That's going to be the decimating smash, but Nike is here for the backup, and it's going to be a lot of dancing around. It's going to be jockeying for position. It's going to be lollygagging, but ultimately doesn't result in anything.
Again, we're still going. No first blood. Teams have been fixed now. Stormwolves on the blue side and Brisbane Logic on the red side. Sorry about that, everybody. Don't know what caused that, but because the plays were the right way around. It just was the teams. Anyway, and with that, just two big fights have now broken out. Ults and summoners coming through, but no blood in the water still. Stormwolves walking with.
I gotta
all three
ask you a
board drums.
question.
Yes. Fire away.
Sorry, I've not done my homework on this. As I said, this is sort of, just something I'm doing for fun right now, but Division 2, it's Plat Diamond?
No, flat to iron, actually. So it's plat and then
God.
down. Yes, so I didn't throw
I
the
don't think
wrench
I've
into...
ever seen a...
I know,
I don't
and
think
this
I've
is
ever seen a first blood past 10 minutes in a Plat below league. This is insane.
This is why it's very impressive to see, and again,
yeah, maybe we'll finally see a first blood, but even with the ultimate, with the fully stacked lethal tempo, Steven Smith couldn't find anything on the tip there because look at him, he's Scion, he's got the Thorn Mail, he's got the plated steel caps, he's just got a big fat butt, and nothing is happening.
maybe now, but no, not yet. Oh
No,
my
Soul
God,
Furnace
no
Shield,
first
it's
blood.
so fake! It's so fake, man! What am I watching? I would honestly think that this was like Diamond Grandmaster. This is like Division 1, like real teams, as it will be 2 ultimates out, and this should finally do it, as it will be Toot falling first. And why do I exist shortly behind him? It was an interesting sort of wombo there. It was the split of the ults, but it did wind up finding first blood and another there for the Logic.
And finally, at the 11-minute mark, we see first blood come through on towards Brisbane Logic's side. And with what you were saying before, how it's like below plat kind of game, no first blood coming in sub 10 minutes. It kind of emphasizes what I was saying during the kind of pre-game talk, where a lot of the players walk out of the OBL kind of tournament and back into like solo queue as a lot of skills and a lot of experience now
Knight
under their belt.
getting harassed in his jungle, not to cut you off, but it's getting real dicey as Dax can just chase forever on this Mundo. Finally stopped, will now pop the ultimate. Look at the body block from Honda trying to keep that cleaver from connecting and will do so successfully, but now it's a big old scrum in the topside jungle as Kickman is the one in danger, gets hit by that Spirit Orb, rooted up, will go down with the Spirit Rush from Bronzon. Dax is the next to fall. It was an aggressive move from the Wolves, but it was turned back around on him.
Brisbane Logic now walking away with 4 kills. Stormwolves now sitting on 0 still. Another bit of a fight happening in the bot lane. Why do I exist? Taking out... Oh, but Ash comes in with a barrier.
Oh, the barrier. Yeah, it looked like they were going to get one back there were the Wolves, but wasn't meant to be, so pretty commanding position here from the Logic.
Tip Rat sitting in top lane with half health, and Stephen Smith just acknowledging he's not really going to be able to kill Sion, so he's going to look to just kind of push in the lane and get some autos off on the tower where he can. He knows he can pretty much, the fight does break out, going with a lot of life steal, so it's, again, looks like both teams are going back to a bit of the farming stage. Dragon is up in 20 seconds though, so we should see some vision coming through very, very soon.
Yeah, and I understand, it's not Tip's fault, right? Look at that top lane matchup. It's 0-0-0. These guys haven't been involved in anything. They're just kind of there smacking each other up back and forth. But it will be very funny to bust his chops about this in the staff chat at some point. Because we've all been the top laner who's just looking at the other lanes going, what's going on down there, guys? And being a little bit powerless to stop it. But we are just waiting for that next objective spawn, which will be the Rift Herald in a minute, and we'll see if maybe Tip can take things a little bit more into his own hands. I do find it interesting, Stephen Smith going for Ravenous Hydra Rush here on Trundle, which was more common in seasons past. Normally you do see the Trinity Force first item come out now a lot, especially in Pro, and it will lead into this proxy as, yeah, the proxy strats have gotten even stronger here in Season 2026, and unsurprisingly, the Logic will get onto this Windrake, pick up their second for themselves as Dax just moving through the vision, trying to get in. I mean, he has the passive shield, and he does have the ultimate, but not going to get in time to do anything. He's on the top side. Bronzon has found Kickman, forced the flash, but it will be Civic taken low. Unfortunately, just not enough chase, not enough hard engage coming from the Wolves as the mid laners, in the meanwhile, have had the split fight the whole time, but everything peters out, no kills, just another objective picked up here for the Logic.
Yeah, top fight, with what we were kind of saying before, the kind of Tip Rat not really being able to do much against the Stephen Smith here. Stephen Smith now taking the first tower of the game, I believe, yes. Kind of, Sion can't actually really lock down and kill the Trundle, and Trundle can't really kill Tip Rat. The kind of top lane matchup and meta at the moment is really play for the quests that are, like, now in this season. Get that teleport or enhanced teleport in Sion's case, and kind of use that to assist your team in team fights as well as pulling pressure elsewhere. Stormwolves looking like that they're going to start onto Rift Herald.
Yeah, Stormwolves have had good priority, at least on the top side objectives so far in this game. Did get themselves 3 grubs, and now look to take the Herald uncontested, so not going to be that sort of pervasive win condition as the Drakes. They don't get to keep a whole lot of buffs throughout the game from controlling the top side like that, but at the very least will give them some more splitting power, as we do see the Logic shoving in another wave here, and yeah, very measured, controlled gameplay from the Logic so far. Not taking this lead and going, okay, we're unstoppable now, let's run it down, let's take every fight. Just continuing to really play to their win conditions, shove their waves, cover vision. Very good, clean, fundamental League of Legends.
Yeah, we're seeing the kind of first brunt of items finally come through. Ooh, Jarvan coming around, maybe looking to get a lock on the Hwei.
Yeah, and that's just going to be the lockdown potential of this mid-jungle duo. Unfortunately for the Hwei, not a mobile champion, not a tanky champion. Has a lot of range, but once you get on top of him, he is good and gone, as it will be Tip using the Herald here. Makes sense. Sion with the Demolish and the HP stacking. Very good split pusher. So anything you can do to sort of put more turret gold and more lane push in his back pocket going to be a good idea, as we are seeing the lane assignments change up here as the quest is sort of finished out, and it will be Smith down in the bot lane, looking to take his test second solo turret gold for himself.
Yeah, Stephen Smith with that kind of trundle. They know what the plan is, bringing the trundle into this game from the top lane. It's side lane pressure. It's the name of the game for the trundle here. He's taken the T1 tower in the top lane, come down towards bot, get Ashe in the top lane, get the gold there of the top minion onto him, and send the send the trundle into the bot lane. The fight happening in the top lane. No deaths coming from it though.
Yeah, Bronzon and Kickman just sort of, playing footsies with each other. They know that the big cooldowns weren't quite back up yet. That Spirit Rush just now coming back for Bronzon, having been used to kill Kickman just a minute earlier. So, just a little bit of poking and prodding as we do see the setup around the Drake in a minute and a half. The bot lanes have moved into the mid, and just really looking to continue this Drake stacking right for the Logic. They already have the first two. We will be moving towards an Ocean Soul, which going to combine with the enchanting sort of qualities of the Seraphine with the big bodies on the Trundle and the Jarvan and make it really, really hard to lose a front-to-back team fight if they can acquire all those Drakes for themselves.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly pull up the gold. Oh, now wait, looks like Trundle might be running down Scion here. As Kickman
it's fake, it's fake. The top lane's the real action is Bronzon. Hey, he had the Spirit Rush the whole time. Baited us.
And
but here comes Jarvan over the wall. Bait into a bait as Stephen Smith forced to flash, puts the pillar down. Nice path blocking there. Keeps Tiprat from being able to chase him down, and it's getting a little bit unfortunate for the Wolves there. Kickman thought he had, gotten the best of that matchup there, but the shadowing of Nike coming through to protect his mid laner and then pick up another kill. It's just this slow sort of choke-out style, as it will be the arrow going wide, not quite finding its target there for Anime, but yeah, things continuing to go from bad to worse for the Wolves, unfortunately.
Yeah, if they don't get a hold of the kind of situations soon, it's really running away from Stormwolves here. Fight breaking out in mid lane.
Yeah. It's a 5k gold advantage for the Logic. This is sort of the weakness that we see from the Wolves composition here, is that they don't have like an easy engage button, right? Nike has that Cataclysm, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the Encore. There's so many tools that are just press R and do big CC and team fight, as we will see the Logic start up the Drake. They have Impunity here. Meanwhile, Dax just has to run in with his body and hope to do damage, but it's not going to do anything as he is taken down. And it will be the nice swirling despair coming through from the way to find the shutdown. Sweet revenge finally for Kickman, but it won't be enough to save the objective as in goes Nike with the Cataclysm. Triple flash out. It will be the second kill now in the fight for the Logic, as they have thoroughly taken that one. Just one back for the Wolves.
Hey, if we can take an inch here, that's still a victory. It's we're still in the kind of middle of the game phase, although Brisbane Logic is definitely ahead with the 5k gold lead. 3 dragons here, they're now sitting on top of Soul Point. Stormwolves really going to have to try and cook up or, get some form of magic spell going to be able to regain control of this game. It's nice that the shutdown finally goes over to, I believe it was Way. If it can go in and seize the current bounty gold on Ashe, or get that more importantly into Caitlyn's hands, hopefully that might give Stormwolves a chance to kind of pull back into it.
Yeah, the sort of hallmarks that you always look for in tier 3 type games is that who has the better scaling, because somebody's always going to make a mistake, and if you have the good scaling, you should be able to come through in the end. And I think that does actually fare for the Wolves, right? You have Sion, he's an infinite stacker, as we do see a little bit of fighting, but I don't think it's going to lead to much as of yet unless Dax wants to force the issue, and it doesn't look like he does. But you have the infinite scaling HP stacking on the Sion. You have the range on the Caitlyn, and the DPS will definitely outscale Ashe if she can just get back into this game, find yourself maybe a shutdown, a big infusion of gold. So the scaling is there for the Wolves, but this game has actually been so clean and controlled from the Logic so far as they take the final tier 1 turret that I don't know if they're going to make the big throws that are usually so characteristic of this level of competition.
Yeah, Stormwolves really just needing to try and find their feet, like you were saying. In the long run, they will eventually pull ahead of Brisbane Logic. However, you need to get to that point where you can get this switch up happening. And if these kind of fights keep occurring and these the double kills and the triple kills and the more gold getting funneled on towards Brisbane Logic, it can really run out.
Nice cleanse coming through from Why Do I Exist, but a bit of a wasted effort as it is going to be 2 more R buttons pressed. It's like, oh, you ignored one ult, have 2 more. Unfortunate situation for an AD carry to face, but those are key cooldowns down for the Logic, so we'll see if maybe the Wolves can find something in return, as we are now getting to the point where Scion is unfortunately not enough to stop this full damage Trundle from just kind of on his head.
No, exactly. And we've seen the Ravenous and the Trinity come through on Trundle, again at the emphasis on the split lane pressure. If it can pull Scion away from the team fight and the kind of lack of presence there, really leaves only Dr. Mundo to be the front line, which often gets exploded like we saw in the first Dragon fight.
And now Tip having to flash the lockdown, won't get connected on with the flag and drag, but that's another big cooldown, you know, sort of missing. And when I look at what's gone wrong for Wolves in this game, unfortunately, we gotta point to our fellow staff member here, Tip. That's a reckless KDA right there. 0-0-0. You're Scion. You gotta get in there. You gotta use your body. You gotta make space. You gotta die for your team. And unfortunately, it might be too late for that to really be a viable game plan, as the slow into the QW won't connect. Could have found the kill for Kickman, but not quite enough through the Spirit Rush of Bronzon. But the burn, not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it, and walks away on about 89 health, where very, very close, but no cigar for Hwei. Looking at Dragons up in a minute now, so they're probably going to look towards Brisbane Logic kind of establishing a bit of vision and presence in towards the bot lane.
Yeah, as Dax and Toot in a bad spot, the flag drag into the backline, followed up by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and that will just be the Wombo combo that we talked about. So easy to execute, as now Dax going to be exhausted, will pop the ultimate, but the chase down potential is not really there. Poked and prodded and taken down. Honda gonna flash back as his front line continues to move forward and get more kills. Now we see Tip in the mix, finding the big shutdown, finally being that big beefy frontliner we needed with the charge. Unfortunately, it will still be the one fight for the Logic.
Yeah, just
because they even want more to the Logic. That's the flash forward from Bronzon, finding the charm. As meanwhile, that was a 4v5. Steven Smith's just been splitting like his life depends on it.
Steven Smith going for the inhib here. Tiprat kind of knowing that nothing can really be done about it. Toot responding though. And Steven Smith using flash to escape.
A very sad eventuality, unfortunately, as it will be the Soul Drake. Absolutely no chance with the jungler off the map. And this one is feeling like it's all over, but the crying for the Logic. They've really played this one very steady. They've controlled Drakes. You know, they didn't lose what could have been an early, you know, sort of rough bot lane matchup. They just played to their win conditions, and they haven't made any big throws. It's been a pretty impressive showing from them, honestly.
It really has. We're looking at 25 minutes now. 13 kills on Brisbane Logics, 2 kills towards Stormwolves here. Baron's up, so the teams may look towards that. It is Hunter Baron though, but we have plenty of damage here on Brisbane Logic side to be able to overcome it. But yeah, it's really running out of control here for Stormwolves. The game is not over, but it very well may be soon.
Yeah, it feels like we're just that one big objective team fight away from the finishing blow, as that's going to be the charge coming out from Scion just to limp away with his life. Not how you want to be using that one, although it is always funny to hear Scion shout, "Cowards!" as he runs away. This is always one of my favorite ironies of the game, as Dax in a bad position once more. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow not going to connect, but that's a whole lot of damage down onto the Mundo. Might force out the ult just to approach back to that Baron, as they're not done. Knife with the flag drag. Cataclysm forces the flash. Now Dax trying to get in on the enemy backline, but he just can't even heal through the damage. So accelerated is the side of Logic, as now Toot isolated on the side against Bronzon. It will be the kill onto the AD carry, the triple kill. Bronzon continuing to go into the base with the Spirit Rushes. You don't have a tier 3, you don't have an inhib. This Ahri just smells blood in the water and wants to collect. Finally, the Karma will run away, but this is just a shellacking now for the Logic. Smith onto the tier 4 towers, onto those Nexus turrets, and it will very shortly be finished off here.
Yeah, it is unfortunately pretty much game over. One tower left standing over the Nexus on Stormwolf's side. The split lane pressure that Trundle was able to just bring into this kind of game here, very, very strong, very, very prevalent. Tiprat not being able to do anything to stop it. And it's just ran away. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey, that is the end of game one. I'll quickly let us go and have a peek at the post-match screen now.
Yeah, and the tale of this game, to me, just comes down to, we pointed out in draft that the Logic had the easier to execute comp, they had these big wombos, we were pointing it out even in the pregame show, look out for the Jarvan, look for these big, easy to execute teamfight comps, but I mean, they just played with their leads super well, made no sloppy mistakes, didn't overextend, didn't get caught, you know, going too far. One of the most impressive games I think I've seen at this level, even with the comp advantage that they had. I mean, Drake sweep. Side lane turrets, swept. Every team fight, swept. Really, really clean.
Yeah, Brisbane Logic showing that they joined this competition to win it. And for a lot of the other teams, kind of be scared. Stormwolves, we're going into game 2 now. You can see the kind of damage graph here. A lot of Ash really kind of pulling her weight, accompanied by J4 there, Jarvan. Solid kind of damage across all the team members here. And the gold difference, you can see just, it was steady the whole way up until like the 23-minute mark. It just kept climbing by hundreds and 200s and 300s, and then it just exploded beyond 23 minutes, and at that point, game was over.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate one, as I'm not sure if we're quite ready for draft on game 2. Can we get an update on that?
Not quite. So what I'll do now, I'll quickly throw us over just to the intermission, the AFK screen. Whilst they get ready for that, they speak to their coaches, get a bit of a pre-warm-up, and it lets you and I, you need, get some water, get some toilet, whatever. So I'll throw us over to there now, and we'll catch you.
I love to get myself some toilet. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. We return, heading into now game 2 of the series. It's the final series of, I believe, week 4 now in Division 2. Game 1, pretty rough one for the Storm Wolves there, and I think we ended on, I think it was like 14-2. Soul Sweep going towards Brisbane Logic, winning the game, finishing it on about a 10k, 11k gold lead. It was pretty steady, very good performance by Brisbane Logic.
Yeah, it was really impressive, and, you know, being the very professional caster that I am, having done no prep going into this series, I was surprised to learn, between games, that this was sort of the opposite of what we would have expected from the standings as well. It was actually the Logic lower series score, and the Wolves looking like, you know, more of top dogs in Division 2. So, very interesting that it was such a clean game. I wonder if it was just like an aberration, if we're going to see something similar moving into Game 2 here. I think, you know, there's some easier things for the Wolves to clean up here, and a lot of it has to do with the draft.
Yeah, well, hopefully going to kind of Game 2, this is Fearless Draft. We're going to see kind of like a lot of the champions that we have just seen played make their way out now and see the kind of new performance come in. Maybe we can get a bit of a stronger up on side. I'd love to get into a Game 3. It's Game 2, you know, it's so be it. There's been a good amount of games so far where it's been, I think we've had like maybe one reverse sweep so far, which is always fun to watch. But yeah, so again, we're just waiting on the teams to give their ready check at the moment and be into Champ Select in a second. Is there anything you want to see, Cyber, coming into Game 2? Any kind of champions you want to witness?
Nothing in particular, right? I think it just goes back to what we were saying in the pre-show and in the draft in Game 1, that it's always better to have the easier time executing your composition, right? At this level, you want a lot of champions to just kind of press their ultimates on top of each other. You want that Bronzodia draft, right? You want something that just, when it comes time to the team fights, you don't really have to think so much. Another thing that sort of struck me as bizarre, and again, I haven't done the prep I should have done on this series, got caught a little late at work, so wasn't really something I had the chance to do, but you know, in Game 1, the Wolves picked this really, like, lane-dominant pairing of Caitlyn Karma, and just weren't able to really generate much advantage with it. And, you know, some of that comes down to jungle intervention. It's a little bit easier for Jarvan to gank early than it is for the Mundo, so it's not like they could really use that momentum to, you know, accelerate their lead. But I'm wondering, maybe you want to pull some of those draft resources away from the bot lane, moving towards your mid, because we did actually see that the Hui who knew the way, had some more of the actual highlights for the Storm Wolves, right? There wasn't much good going for them in Game 1, but that Hui actually did, you know, manage to knock down or almost knock down the Ahri in the side lane a couple times. So maybe you move a little bit more of the eggs into your mid lane carry basket moving into Game 2 and just kind of say, let's draft our bot lane, a lane that can scale up and survive, sort of like the plan I'd called out for the Logic in Game 1, although it didn't wind up going that way, and, you know, try and influence the map through mid.
Yeah, and with that, the Kickman on the Hui, even in team fights, was dealing out a significant amount of damage, and having that the large slow, he's got that many ability names, I can't really remember him, but the big slow kind of circle that forms on the champion. A lot of presence.
Swirling
and kind of,
Despair, that's his ultimate.
There we go.
That champion came out after I stopped casting, and yet somehow I know the name of it, so I'm going to give myself some brownie points for that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Once a play-by-play caster, always a play-by-play caster, I guess.
Oh, yeah, hey, this is why you're here. You're to save me, because there's a couple ability names I know, but I really got to catch up and get better at that. Yeah,
I mean, with a lot of them, you can just kind of get away with, like, calling them what they do, right? Ashe has arrows. Sometimes she shoots a lot of arrows. Sometimes she shoots a couple of arrows very fast. Sometimes she shoots a big old arrow with a really bull hockey hitbox that should not hit. It's very wide. Have you ever seen the hitbox on Ash Arrow? You can flash it vertically, but it's like giant. It's lollipop at the end. Ridiculous. Ridiculous ability.
Yeah, no, we're having just a couple technical issues in the lobby at the moment, so, you know, we'll, for now, we've got, you know, us two just rambling for the meantime. Yeah, with going
People
into
come
this,
here to hear my grievances about hitboxes in this game. They don't come for the entertaining League of Legends to support their friends and their community. They come for my personal gripes about Ashe and the way her ultimate works. I'm sure of it.
There's some
What's your ability?
My one is always, now, you know, you can call me pretty vanilla with this one. Nautilus hooks are insane. And it's a 2D game on like a kind of plane. Why would you add a height difference? That is so infuriating to me. Looking back at like the YouTube clips, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to explain like a champion, you know, throws out a ability from like in River. On your screen, you're here. The ability comes in at this angle and it still hits you. That's insane.
No, it's not how you want things to work. I really don't know what the influence on them with the height difference was. I mean, in Dota, right, which was obviously the progenitor of League of Legends, there's a lot of mechanics around height difference, and, you know, you do more damage with high ground advantage, you can miss autos going up high, going up on height differences. Like, there's actual gameplay around it. In League, it's just like this weird sort of vestigial hanger-on thing that doesn't really make much sense, and like you said, leads to some weird visual clarity issues, but no, I mean, you gotta respect the answer that Nautilus hook is BS. I think every hook champion, we've all had that feeling of, that didn't hit me. This game is ridiculous, I'm uninstalling, and then, of course, we all queue up for the next game. We can't help ourselves, we can't stop it. That's the League of Legends magic.
Yeah, it's, you know, it happens. There's plenty of games out there with some very questionable ones, but I, on a very weird, not even related to League, side tangent, I saw on TikTok a while ago, I think it was Night Rain, Elden Ring Night Rain. Oh, and wait, I'll cut that one off short, because we're in Champ Select, everybody!
From Software games are fun, but League of Legends drafts are better, as, it looks like we do still have Stormwolves on blue and Brisbane on red, yes? That is correct.
I believe so, yes. Which, if that is the case, give me 1 second.
As you make your adjustments, I will do a little bit of commentating on the bans here. It's gonna be the same bans we saw in Game 1, right? That's sort of the... I wouldn't call it a disadvantage or a problem with Fearless, but it's just like, you can kind of focus on these 10 OPs that are just never going to enter the series, and if anything, I think it's an advantage. It's sort of lowering down that homogeneity and that sameness of the drafts through and through, but it will be, I think, the exact same first phase of bans as the first pick Mordekaiser coming on through, going to be immediately counted out by the Nocturne. Now, I will point out that Logic banned the Orianna themselves, so it won't be that knockball combo that has been so popular in Pro as of late, but wow, we are flying through. Xin Zhao, Azir, Kai'Sa, Veigar.
They know what they want to play, yeah, so... Well, again, Mordekai's in the top lane. We don't know what they're going to be facing off against. Dax taking away the Xin Zhao and Kickman on the Azir. I love the Azir kind of lock-in. Veigar's going to struggle quite the amount in that. Stormwolves locking away Morgana. Brisbane Logic in response locking away the Braum as well as the Mel. Mel's a very good ban away. I assume we already have an Azir there, so Mel wasn't going to get thrown in the mid lane, but I can only assume Kez Mel support. And then in final response, Toot, I believe, banning out the final Galio.
Yeah, so, I mean, once again, we could just see the support counterpick coming through here, right, for the Logic, because we see the Mordekaiser and we see the Xin Zhao, so that sort of precludes the capability of a Mordekaiser jungle, although it will be the Leona here, still saving counterpick for top. They want to give Stephen Smith the view of the whole composition, I guess, before they lock him into a counterpick. but sort of forfeiting an advantage you had there, right? Because now it will be support counter pick going on through for the side of the Wolves, and they're really taking their time mulling what they want that to be.
Yeah, we're seeing the kind of the Leona get locked. There it is. Okay, Kale. I did talk about this during when we're going over a lot of the kind of teams and the players here. Stephen Smith had a lot of the kind of bruisery roles. However, he did have the one off, kind of off-pick one, which was the Kale. Nice hyper carry in the top lane. We are seeing Brisbane Logic though is only pretty much one proper frontliner, which is Leona. Unless Nocturne goes Bruiser, I'm not sure if he's stronger in the Bruiser or Assassin this season. I haven't seen too many. So interesting
Typically
draft up by
the
Brisbane.
typically the inherited logic of solo queue is that you go more of an assassin nocturne. In pro play, pretty consistently, we've seen more of a bruisery nocturne inspired in LCS last week. Actually, pulling out something really interesting, going pivoting a little bit more towards like full tank with Abyssal Mask. That was with the Oriana, the knock ball or the shock knock, whatever you want to call it, combo, where he built the Abyssal Mask to amp the damage from the Oriana shockwave. So I don't think we'll see the full tank come out, but definitely no reason that we couldn't see a more of a middle ground, like you said, Bruiser Nocturne, I think, coming out here.
Yeah, which I could see that coming in, especially like the Nocturne pops the ult, gets the fear, the near sight across the Azir and the Zaya. These champions need that kind of vision to be able to exercise their power, especially as which he can't get his sand soldiers to actually attack if he can't enemy teams. I do like the Nocturne lock here. It's very, very good. Stormwolf, the Zaya Rakan, very, they synergize well. That they always will. Gonna be a good watch. Gonna be a fun watch, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a lot of sort of classic duos here, right? It's the Zaya versus the Kaisa. That was like a meta-defining sort of opposition in the bot lane from the end of 2017, like all the way through 2020. The meta seemed like it never really strayed too far from Zaya and Kaisa were like the only viable ADs, and then you had people doing weird stuff like you had double lift on Vlad. Those were dark times. Those were a dark couple of years for the bot lane meta, but you have the Zaya Rakan. I was a little bit curious, from the Stormwolves deciding to pick the Rakan into the Leona. Typically, Leona is looked at as a good matchup into Rakan. Rakan W's forward, point and click, Q. You stun him. Rakan W's
Yeah.
forward, you E. You meet him in the middle, you block him from getting onto your back line. Generally, very good peel against the Rakan engage is that Leona. So, a bit of an interesting matchup, but Lovers duo, a lot of synergy, a lot of lane power, so we will see if things are a little bit different here in game 2 for the Wolves, if they can make that bot lane story a little bit different than it was last time.
Yeah, and like with that, just looking at the kind of Stormwolves, the draft that they've gone here, you might know more on this, but looking at the team, I can't really see any good inter-team synergy, I guess. Like the Mordekaiser are able to ult, for example, Isa or the Kale, right? Pulls him out of a fight, but Zinzao, the Azir, I can't see any good what their plan is here. They might have a plan, tell us, but see what they might be cooking up here.
I mean, it's standard front to backish champions, I would say, right? You also kind of have just like more of what I was pointing out before we went to break, which is like get yourself some big R buttons that do something. So you have the Azir shuffle, you have the Rakan charm. So getting a little bit more towards ease of execution. But yeah, I don't necessarily see any super strong synergies across the team fights other than just these are comfort champions, these are strong individual champions, and we're gonna try and shape up that early game, try and not let the snowball get rolling quite so big as it did the last time around.
Yeah, that is a very good strong point. It's if they're comfortable on these kind of champions, then bring them into game 2. It's probably the best to go that, and less of a kind of less mastery but more pro play or more synergistic thing. If they can make their individual amazing, it can easily still a game 4. And with that, we are about to get into the game.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this Mordekaiser lane into Kale goes. It feels like you have about 5 levels to, press your advantage, but I mean, even when Kale's in her melee form, right? She has decent mobility with the W movement speed steroid. She has a pretty small hitbox as far as most champions go. Not the hardest thing. Mordekaiser has 2 sort of line skill shots. They take up basically the same area of effect as Q and a Z. You position right, you sidestep them, you backstep them. It's not the easiest thing to exert a lot of pressure here on Mordekaiser. So we'll have to see if Tip can get it done and keep this Kale from getting too big before it's too late. We're on to the Rift for game number 2 here between the Wolves and the Logic. Let's see what they do.
Yeah, I assume we're probably going to see a very similar opening here. A lot of the junglers and support. Yeah, junglers going in, seeking vision. Azir getting it onto the red side Raptors, and in response, Brisbane Logic getting a ward onto Cornwall Raptors as well. Trying to keep track of their jungle.
1-for-1 Wraith Swords. Very, very standard, as we do see Tip with the aggressive lane posture, really trying to push the fact that this Kale is weak early, just bully her in her face, and Steven Smith, that's what I'm talking about. You know the Moor's in the bush, you just gotta walk right in range to bait the Q and walk right back. A little bit of a demoralizing start, but there's plenty of game left to be played.
Yeah, and like... With the Kale into the Mordekaiser, I don't think we'll be looking at top lane too much, at least not until the kind of level 6 starts opening up, as Kale has to play safe, especially in dedicated melee matchup, so we can kind of see Tip
Yeah, he's got the aggressive lane position, trying to zone Steven Smith off of XP. Oh no, that was not the aggressive lane position, that was the disconnect, as
yeah.
I think it's fixed. But
well,
one thing that
so
yeah, it should be fine. One thing I wanted to point out that I thought was really cool, I've seen this kind of trick used before on other champions, was Honda down here for Logic using the Leona taunt. The beginning of that animation looks like the wind-up animation for the E, so sort of mind gaming, spamming that taunt and making the bot lane of Wolves sweat a little bit. Is that E coming out? Is that E coming out? Because the root will be landed there, but nothing really doing, as the Grand Entrance not going to find anything there from Toot. It's just, that nice slow measured early game like we got in game 1.
Yeah, and pretty much like you just said, the Grand Entrance coming out from Toot, then Honda Civic immediately responding with the Leon E, trying to get a nice root in response to try and maybe get a bit more poke onto the enemy support. The first one to get chunked pretty much will be in a rough spot for the rest of the laning phase until the reset occurs. Both bot laners now hitting level 3 and just kind of skirmishing at the moment. Mid lane, no real presence. It's just going to be a bit of a farm stage across the board here.
Yeah, Farm Fest 2026. Come on down, buy your tickets now. It's exciting farming action that you don't want to miss, as we do find, an E landing there onto the Kale. A little bit of something, but I'm looking at these lanes, and the way they were supposed to play out in my head is Azir can at least win the early, as we do have a gank coming through. Hold that thought. Steven Smith ignited. He's bonked. He's in that AoE, as Dax will find the knockup. That's the easy first blood coming through for the Mordekaiser. With a little help from his friend Dax, Tip is on the board.
That's what I was expecting from a Division 2 game. We're at 3 minutes, and we're first blood out now. So, again, Mordekaiser taking first blood in the top lane against the Kale. A very kind of strong... If you can keep that Kale pressured and hopefully get that little lead that Mordekaiser can get now, it'll at least stabilize the top lane. Otherwise, once Kale starts scaling, it can really get out of control.
Yeah, as we see these bot laners just smacking each other up a little bit, the engage, the counter engage. No lethal damage found yet. Just that probing, just that prodding. Testing each other's limits, as it will be the shove found for Logic, going to get themselves a nice reset. Looks like the attempted freeze coming through, but not going to be found from Wolves, as, again, wave management coming out. Steven Smith finding himself 4 minions, finding himself at least a bit of a slow push. Tip going to have to overstay a little bit. I'm not sure if they know where the Nocturne is, so not going to be in any danger, but might be under the impression he's in some danger.
Yeah, Nocturne not really standing on vision. They do have a ward on where Dax was, and so Kale knows that she's safe for the meantime, and then seeing that the Jinjiao was the bot lane, looks like Kai'Sa had a quick reset and is returning to lane now with a recurve bow.
Yeah, and the point I'd wanted to make before we got some action is that when I sort of visualize the way these lane matchups go in my head, it's, you know, early game, Azir has a little bit of an advantage over Veigar, right? He has the range advantage, should be able to poke out strongly, and might have some control. You would think early game Mordekaiser would have a bit of an advantage over Kayle, but the CS leads in both solo lanes pretty strongly in the favor of the Logic, and they're going to, you know, convert that priority now into the first Drake, just like last time, getting this objective stacking early. As Steven Smith forced to ult, I think he's in the death realm. He will get bonked. A second kill coming through for Tiprat. It's the solo Bolo.
Yeah, it's good to see Stormwolves getting this kind of early presence. 2 kills to them, no kills on Brisbane Logic side. As if they need to emphasize this strong early game point, as if they're not going to emphasize on it, you're looking to face up against a Veigar accompanied.
Kickman with the shuffle into Dax. It's going to be the cage and the flash out. And look at that zone control. That little demon is so annoying, I swear.
Very good flash from Bronzon to kind of escape that very near kill there occurring. But as I was saying, yeah, Brisbane Logic, 2 scalers. You've got Kayle accompanied with Veigar. Veigar scaling infinitely. It's like, if this game gets to near the 30-minute mark, it could really become a different story for the outcome of the game, even if Stormwolves does get ahead. So they need this early lane presence, early game presence and kind of pressure emanating, and get that strong point executed.
Yeah, it's a tall task, but, you know, they put themselves in a better position. They're already doing a heck of a lot better than they were at this time last game. Now it's about spreading that lead out, finding some more advantages, because as nice as it is to have a couple of kills up there on Tip, the Mordekaiser are not really going to scale into being either a team fight threat or you know, a big hyper carry, right? His utility has sort of been removing the carry from the other team and giving the rest of the team a bit of a leg up. So we'll see how the Wolves try and convert this moving forward. Next objective will be these grubs in 35 seconds. They did actually have a pretty good grasp on the top lane objectives last game, and that was without a winning top laner, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them head right towards those grubs on spawn.
Yeah, Dragon, like you said, up in 3 minutes. Scrub's now in 20, so we're going up. Even then, most of the players still on the bottom half of the map, trying to clear vision, get that farm going.
Oh, that's the first Paranoia into the cage. That's a nasty combo, as Bronzon will be the beneficiary of that kill. Just you know, a classic, a support going a little too far into enemy territory for vision, and now this poor AD carry all by herself, all by her lonesome in the bot lane. Nike is stalking, he's sniffing out his prey, and why do I exist? Sniffing it back in return, knows something is amiss, but can the dive come through? They're creeping. They're coming up the wave. The Void Seeker finds. That's a little poke into the Eclipse on top, into the lockup. No chance to R until the last second. Gets the pull back. Maybe we'll find the one trade. Will be the 1-for-1, but that's the plate, and that's the kill going to the Logic.
That was a lot of damage from that tower, though, onto Anime. Jesus. Yeah, like you were saying, want to exist. Really, not much could be done there. Very well played to at least get a 1-for-1. Sure, Brisbane Logic does pull out ahead, the plate, the kill, all that sort of stuff, but still, at least they managed to counter some of the trade and take a kill with it.
Yeah, and Toot even getting them a bit of a tempo win there, stopping the back on Anime as well, going to be pretty valuable. as we do have these grubs taken in the meanwhile, it looks like, because they're no longer on the map. So the cross map as well, going through for the Wolves, getting, you know, their share of the top lane objectives in this series, as it will be the ult for ult trade once again. And that bonk looked like it might have been a little bit late as the flash coming through the positioning. The QE was not there in time as Tip running this lane now. 800 individual lead.
Very impressive performance from Tiprat so far. Though falling behind in CS, is on 3-0 now in the top lane, 1,000 gold lead ahead of the Kayle here. A lot of the other lanes are very, very kind of equal, with maybe Veigar being a component ahead. That's about it. No first items coming through, not just yet, but maybe, I believe, next kind of reset, we will see our first items coming through.
Yeah, and we'll make these fights even more intense as Kickman and Bronzon going to exchange some glancing blows, and now the engage, the shuffle, he knows that cage is gone. It's the best peel option, as that's going to be the grand entrance into the kill, going on over to Kickman. This is such a different vibe than last time around. Wolves coming alive.
Yeah, Wolves have looking like they've finally found their kind of feet. They understand that they can't play this game out into the kind of Brisbane Logic scaling favor. They need this early game kind of pressure, bully in the lane, crash them in. Nocturne ult coming through.
Paranoia coming out. It's going to be the engage onto the lonesome AD carry left by herself. A nice going to be an ult in response, and it will be the 1-for-1 once again. The jungler's down. And now it will be the counter punch. Toot and Karkman coming up through the top lane. It's going to be the grand entrance. It's going to be found on the Honda. It will be the Ian exchange, trying to find the way out, trying to find the way back to safety of Anime. But this is Wolves kicking butt in the early game, and I think they are going to convert that into their first Drake of the series.
This is what we wanted to see. Again, in the standings currently, Storm Wolves are sitting third in position. Brisbane Logic sitting in sixth, tying with the Marcher Boys. It's the game one, obviously, maybe a little bit nervous. The game ran away early on, but this is the Storm Wolves that we know and witness.
Yes, Kickman in some danger. It will be the flash Q, and it will find it. Veigar doing annoying Veigar things, and that shutdown a little bit scary, as you literally just pointed out. The scaling is there for the logic, so you really got to keep this snowball rolling. That first Infernal Drake will do big for the Wolves, but they got to clean up the play, and they got to, you know, keep it moving forward.
Yeah. Next objective being Rift Herald in about 3 minutes, so lots of time. A lot of the lanes are going to kind of return back to a stable presence. Get some of the gold, get some of the farm, get some of these items coming through. We are seeing the first batch of items. Pretty standard across the board. Veigar with the Luden's Tempest. Mordekaiser going for that kind of utility. The I believe it's Sorelda's Grudge, the kind of magic slowing item. You know, ult onto the Kayle. Get the Q, get the aura going, slow the Kayle, make sure that no one can escape your plan.
My friend, when did you start playing League of Legends? Because I don't think... It's so funny, Sorelda's Grudge to me, it's like such a new item. I don't think I even remember the name of Sorelda's Grudge. But Rylai's has been in the game for like 2 decades.
Oh, yeah!
To get those confused in that order is legitimately like very interesting. That you're a League vet, I can feel it, right?
Not really, actually. I started maybe 2021 or something.
Oh my god, I feel so old.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you're absolutely right in what they do. They're basically the same item. One's AD, one's AP. That's just a very interesting order to get them mixed up in. Wow. Thank you for making me feel very old and out of touch with the new player experience.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. I haven't played this game in a very, very long time. At least not since I pretty much started doing the kind of casting thing. So I'm a little bit rusty on the items.
That's a fun one. I like that one a lot. I think I might start calling Rylai's Sorelda's in your honor, my friend.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, nothing doing. We have time to yuck about the items because we're back to one of these little lull states. And you know what? I really appreciate this because the chit-chatting is always fun, as it will be Bronzon actually finding the 1-for-1 trade there. Speak of the devil and the action will occur.
I was gonna say, yeah, I like the, yeah, we're in a bit of a lull, chill stage, and then immediately a fight breaks out in the mid lane. God, I love Division 2. It's always
that's the way
fun
it
to
goes.
watch.
Classic caster curses. We're seeing a tale of two solo lanes here. It's the Vygar way ahead in mid, and the Mordekaiser way ahead on top, and we're going to see which of these very, very evil characters can exert their will to carry this game. As will be once again the Death Realm coming out. Steven Smith has the ult, will find a little bit of DPS in return, but just not going to be enough. I mean, this Mordekaiser really making this look like a filthy counterpick.
Let's take a quick look at the individual kind of gold. A lot of it going onto Tiprat on Stormwolf's side here, followed by Bronzon in the mid lane. Gold on Brisbane Logic side tends to be going to where they kind of want it. It's currently sitting on Veigar, Kale, and the Kai'Sa. And then on Stormwolf's side, the gold lead going into the Azir is nice. Tiprat with the kind of Mordekaiser late game falling off. Doesn't want to be too rich. It's nice that he is that rich, being able to do what he's doing to the Kale, but
But see, it's going to be the killer instinct in from Anime. I wonder if this is a bit ambitious. That's the Nocturne Paranoia coming down as well. That was certainly ambitious, as the dive is going to come through on Xayah once again. Another quick pick picked up for the side of the Logic.
I believe that's the first dive that hasn't ended in a trade, actually. So, well played there to Brisbane Logic.
Yeah, Toot got one bird in the hand, and they're going to leave that other bird in the bush under the turret. They're not going to press their luck too much in trying to kill the Rakan on top of it. But, yeah, Why Do I Exist? Very apt name. Very, very 80 carry thematic there. Is just getting dove on repeat, I'd be asking myself the same question.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit rough for Why Do I Exist currently bot lane, and it's getting a bit of an uncomfortable position for Stormwolves. Sure, they are currently with the gold lead, only 500, but 9 kills going towards Stormwolves, 6 kills going towards Brisbane Logic, but Brisbane Logic sitting on 2, like, you know, pretty much Kale being a hyperscaler and Veigar being an infinite scaler. You don't want to be losing this kind of presence in the as the fight breaks out.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice grand challenge from Dax, and it's not going to be enough, though, as the shutdown. That's unfortunate. That's already a strong point for Brisbane. They got Anime, another big gold infusion here. ADC quest finished means already getting so much gold, 7 slots, and now it will be the Drake take as well coming through. And, I fear we might be seeing things falling apart as Honda finds Toots, or not actually, it's going to be Why Do I Exist, backing in the alcove, and we've seen this tale before, and it's just going to play out deja vu all over again. Ulti, ulti, ulti on that little bird's head.
Why Do I Exist? Again, very fitting name. It's bit of a, yeah, it's a bit rough for Stormwolves. They had a very strong lead. Again, a lot of that lead was focused on right in the top lane. And unfortunately, we're now approaching 20 minutes. We're at the 17 minutes currently, and Brisbane Logic kind of really putting a stop to that snowball that could have occurred, which can really evolve into a nasty tale.
If anything, they turned into Sisyphus, right? They took this giant round thing, and instead of having it bear down on them, they started pushing it up the hill, reversed the snowball completely. Speaking of deja vu, this is a tale we've seen a couple of times too, but maybe this one has a different ending as Steven Smith with the flash will fall, but will it be the trade? No! Tiprat says, I am going to continue to be the author of this story for at least a little while longer.
Again there, Triumph really kind of doing a strong point there for the Mordekaiser. Without the Triumph rune there, it definitely would have probably perished under that tower, so good to see Tiprat really putting in the effort to really put the Kale in the dirt. So hopefully towards the later of the game, doesn't come in, like once we approach that level 16 power spike for Kale, not going to be as strong if she doesn't have the iron follow up with it. Dragon spawning about 3 minutes, Baron in a minute, so teams are kind of looking to get gold, maybe look for a bit of a reset. It's not looking like a Baron angle just yet though. Both teams very, very stable. if they go for it, it's going to be a bit of a coin toss.
Yeah, and that's going to be the shield popped off a Honda. Not going to get hit by that when becomes lightning, but now the baby cage comes out, the combination, here comes the paranoia, all pile on the Xin Zhao. He'll get out, and it will be the turnaround as that's the Feather Storm coming on out. Dax limps away on 1 HP. Nothing happening yet, that's just the preamble. The ultimate's all exchanged, but with the mid lane siege continuing, maybe we will see something moving forward. Nope. Nope.
Not quite, yeah. They kind of, they've had that team fight, they used their spells, they used their ults, and they couldn't really get anything from it, so they kind of, looks like they just shook hands and went, alright, we'll go other ways. Well, let's fight for an objective and not just over everything.
Here might be a consequence as Bronzon on his lonesome fails the flash over the wall. It's so painful. Not going to trade a kill this time as... Oh, that's
Bruno.
what we love to see.
Yeah.
A DC and a pause.
Unfortunately, it might seem like Tiprat's PC has crashed a second time. Initially, I believe this was the leading into game 2. Yes, no, game 1. He had a PC crash in the lobby, so hopefully we should be back in just a moment. But for now, let's scroll out a little bit. The
timing of that pause was just so funny to me because
yeah.
you saw Bronzon immediately fail the flash, pause, ref. That was game bug. Why game bug? That wasn't me.
No, it's yeah, it is unfortunate. I hate watching players, accidentally just fail the flash and more or less flashing on the spot. Worse yet, it is just got casted on stream, so unlucky, Mr. Bronzon, when you do rewatch the VOD. But yeah, again, we're looking currently at the game, 11 kills onto Stormwolves, 8 kills into Brisbane Logic, gold lead pretty much non-existent. In top, the Mordekaiser walking with 2,000 gold, nearly a full item ahead, and then between the ADCs, Why Do I Exist really struggling up against BL Anime, with 1,600 gold going towards the Kaiser now, which we're going to...
Yeah, 2 full-on hit items already at 20 minutes. That Kaiser's going to be hitting like a truck. Just to get back on the subject of failing flashes for a second, since we do have some more pause time to wait out. The youngins should be very happy that League of Legends has gotten a lot of quality of life features over the years. Whenever I see somebody fail a wall flash, which we all do it, we all miss cannons, we all fail wall flashes. It's perfectly natural and shouldn't be embarrassing. But I think of Dyrus way back when, top laner for TSM in the Stone Age, and he one time failed a flash on stream, and his team owner slash team captain slash mid laner made him go into a custom game. This is before there was practice tool, and he had to load up on full summoner spell CDR, as this happens with pauses, folks, if you're wondering why people aren't still moving. There's a bit of a hangover with pauses. We gotta wait for this to move forward, which is why I knew I would have the time to yap about my Dyrus anecdote. So he made him go into a custom game with full summoner CDR runes, which was a thing back in the day, which would get your flash cooldown to like 3 minutes. It still wasn't quick, and was like, alright, practice flashing walls for 2 hours. Once every 3 minutes, just practice flashing a wall. So, at least the punishments aren't that bad anymore.
Yeah, no, it's, thank God they're not, that rough anymore, but, it's still a very good skill to kind of get, to know where your character is, how far the flash is, and flash into the wall, and often it can jump you over it. It's still very impressively executed nicely. It would have probably saved the Veigar there, too, but, yeah, currently, just lanes a bit stagnant currently. Everyone's looking for a bit of farm. Baron's up, but again, no one's looking for that. It'd be a bit of a clean toss going for a engage like that. But Dragon, minute 20. Teams are probably going to start looking to get vision.
Yeah, it seems like that will be our next sort of magnet pulling these teams in for a big old fight. Although we've seen plenty of side lane kills, as that's the direction we're moving again. Kickman and Toots maybe going to try and look to punish this Veigar one more time, as... I mean, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Why are you walking up to the wave? Dirty tip rat. Oh my god, not even a chance to pop the ultimate for Steven Smith there. This is getting really... It almost feels personal at this point.
Yeah, I think it is becoming personal at this point. That's I believe now the 6th kill going towards Tiprat on the Mordekaiser, which all 6 of them at this point has just been running at Kale, ulting, and killing. And then Mordekaiser, Tiprat taking T1 top tower.
Yeah, it's going to be a good sign. If you look at the rest of the gold advantages throughout the team, as Dak's going to walk right into the bush and get caught in that spell shield, going to get caught in the fear. Now the counter engagement Toots with that big firestorm around him means that's a nice turnaround. Hondo, though, with the damage reduction from the W, will now find the engage back onto the enemy AD carry. I don't think you want to go that way, as Killer Instinct is met with the Featherstorm. It will be the one AD carry traded for the other, but now it's a 4v1 as Vigar, I don't think you want to be there. The Wombo comes through, Xin finds the kill, and I think I'm sniffing a game 3 on the horizon here.
I'm right there with you. Again, Brisbane Logic, the last kind of from the 10 minutes up to 17-minute mark, really kind of stopping that snowball and trying to put a halt to it, which they did very effective at, but that one kind of team fight for the 4th dragon of the game now, Stormwall was really just going in and getting a nice smash into a lot of the Brisbane Logic's kind of players and sending them back to Fountain. Mordecai is now sitting on a 700 gold bounty, which Zaya is pointing out. So we could be seeing a maybe a bit of a targeted assassination on Mordekaiser coming up from Brisbane Logic sometime in the near future. Try and get that gold funneled into.
I mean, this is the thing with the Mordekaiser, though, is that, like, yeah, he's never going to be a hyper carry, but it's hard to punish him on the side lane when he's this far ahead, because you can go 3 men deep, 4 men deep, Shadow, make a side lane play, but he's just going to ult the weakest guy and kill him and make it a 1-for-1 every time. So I don't know if the plan to pick the Mordekaiser in the side lane is necessarily the strongest. You still have a very strong front to back for Brisbane, right? Not that they can see this, but as the observers, we know that it's only a 2,000 gold lead, right? That's 1 legendary item on average that Wolves is up over the Logic, and their AD carry is very fed. I mean, this 3-item spike with Dusk and Dawn, we've seen on this patch how crazy this can be for Kaisa, so if Anime just gets a fight where they can hit, you know, all the way through, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for the Logic to win. I don't think they need to start, you know, praying for some side lane miracles quite yet.
No, yeah, exactly. Which it looks like Tiprat kind of pushing in the top lane and isn't really confident and ready to maybe ahead, not with a lot of vision coming through. Might be looking for a fight near Baron, or maybe if they can go for a team fight.
Now that's the Solar Eclipse into the cleanse. Now it will be the Featherstorm, the Paranoia. In return, it is the Grand Entrance. Way deep goes Nike on the Nocturne, and he will find the kill, and he gets out with his life, but it will be traded back. 80 carry for 80 carry, and now the bodies will start to pile up as Honda will not be able to run away. Although the damage reduction coming through, Wind Becomes Lightning says, I don't care about your shield, I'll pierce right through the heart of it. It is the 1-for-2 in favor of the Wolves, and they have a clear path to the Baron.
Tiprat making a way towards the Kale here, but isn't going to go ahead and check the bush as the rest of the team goes to take Baron. Which
I mean, the Kale's worthless, right?
Yeah, at this point,
You killed Steve 6 times at this point. Just go and take the wave. The Baron will soon be theirs as well. Nocturne back on the map. No vision, though. No Paranoia. No real chance at the steal. So, yeah, the Wolves just continuing to make this Game 2 sort of mental comeback more and more apparent. They're in a very commanding position.
Yeah, Stormwall's looking to maybe take Game 2 as a victory and maybe looking towards the Game 3. Probably shouldn't say that. I do have a bad case of Caster's Curse, but sitting on the 3,000 gold lead, a lot of that gold lead is going into the Mordekaiser as well as the Xin Zhao. And I guess the kind of in Brisbane Logic side, gold sitting on Kaisa is nice. They're now coming through with Dusk and Dawn. There we go. I knew I'd get it. Another more or less
proud of you.
Sheen-ish type of item. Cast an ability, do a lot of damage. So it's good to kind of see if maybe Brisbane Logic, hopefully the scaling can kind of really show its face soon on the I would say Kale, but 0-6 is very, very rough. The Viger, though, still definitely a good chance to pull ahead here.
I mean, the Kale hung on to the important part, right? Got the level 16. That's where a lot of the damage is going to come from on 2 items. If these carries from the side of the Logic can just free hit, if they can get a good front to back, you know, I think they have the carry potential. The problem is keeping that Rakan off the back line. It's really going to be up to Honda to keep that from happening so that those carries can attack to their fullest potential. And we will see in just about 40 seconds here when this next Drake comes up if they can execute on this plan. But Siege coming on through from the Wolves, really collecting this standing gold on the map, getting their mid priority, setting themselves up to hopefully take this Ocean Drake and move to Soul Point and contest.
Yeah, definitely a smart move to come through. They're kind of making their way down now, probably going to establish some vision as a lot of Brisbane Logic kind of make their way towards top, hoping to maybe get onto Tiprat, sees that bounty that I was talking about. Here we go.
Yeah, here's the side lane play we talked about. It's going to be the Spell Shield and the ult coming out at the same time to try and keep that ultimate turnaround play from happening. And you know what? I spoke ill of the pick the Mordekaiser in the side lane plan, but they used the right champions and the right ability and the right order to get it done.
They do, and as punishment for that, Dax and What Do I Exist sees the dragon on the other side of the map, which they knew was going to happen. There was very little that they could do to stop it. So, you know, if they can't get Dragon, what else could we do? There's walking gold in the top lane. Let's send 3 of us there, and it went onto the Kale, which desperately needed it, as then you see 2 needlessly large rods come through on the Kale.
Yeah, we saw that gold lead go from like 4K to 1.5 in real time. That was crazy shutdown. So, yeah, I mean, things are more or less at the same state they were before that exchange, right? Scaling still on the side of the Logic. They just have to execute. They got to keep their carries pumping throughout the fights. The Wolves, you know, they keep continuing to collect these objectives. And Ocean Soul, I think, would really help their teamfight potential to survive through that big damage coming through. So it's just a matter of the next time these teams meet in the 5v5, who's going to do what, as we do take a quick look at the damage dealt here. And we did not expect Bronzon to be at the top of the list.
Nor did I. I did expect Tiprat to be at the very least in the top 3 somewhere. After all, like, if you're permanently fighting a Kale, you're doing damage, right? But yeah, Bronzon coming through in currently number 1, sitting on 17,000 damage dealt at this moment. Very impressive kind of performance. And then in 3rd place, Enemy on the Kaiser. Doing a lot of power, a lot of work on the ADC kind of role, which is what you want to be seeing.
Yeah, really living up to the role quest, getting all that extra gold, turning your items into damage, as we do see the setup around the bottom river, that scuttle going to be collected. No Drake for another 3 minutes, so these teams just kind of sniffing out, wanting to make some action happen for the sake of it. It is going to be Kickman up in the top lane, but has that TP available if any sort of fracas does occur. So it's really just more of a, I'm bored, I want to press my buttons type situation.
Yeah, we're seeing Rabadons come through on the Kale now. A pretty big power spike, especially onto a level 17 Kale. I'm yet to see a level 20 Kale, so I want to see if how much of a power spike a level 20 Kale can get. So I hope this game definitely draws out for a little bit longer. Soul Point on Stormwolf's side, which they might be looking at that in 2 minutes 30, but we are a minute from the Baron now. So a lot of the kind of Stormwolves, as well as Brisbane Logic, are probably going to be looking towards the Baron pit here, establishing vision, and within the next 40 to 50 seconds, maybe we'll team fight.
Yeah, and go back they will. We saw earlier in the game Toot get picked in that bottom river because went to establish vision without the backup. This time Dax going to be shadowing the Rakan, making sure that doesn't happen, but we've seen this plan before. Let's see how it goes this time. The Spell Shield means the ult won't come out. Death Realm's still available though. Who did it go down to? It was Bronzon, and yeah, that's the right way to do it because that Vigar is not going to get away. It's going to be the 1-for-1, but you just lost your biggest carry for their side lane guy.
Yeah, and as you were saying, like, if you can kill Mordekaiser, sure, but you have to go in pretty much understanding that someone on whoever is going in, one of the people will probably not be leaving that lane alive. So Tiprat doing his kind of role there, giving back a lot of gold though, in like on the other side of the onto the fence here. But it's if can time that well, like Mordecai's in the bot lane, bring down the paranoia from the Nocturne, accompanied with by most likely a Kaiser or something like that. It gives them the opportunity to go and risk somewhere else on the map, as Brisbane Logic might look to maybe get a start Baron. Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Teleport
they're
coming in.
They're starting this. I wonder if this is just the bait because they cleared out the vision. It will be the far side alteration dropping down. Knight continuing to hold the aggro though. So they took their sweet time. They couldn't really commit to whether they wanted to do it or not. And now they got to put their tail between their legs and run out. The baby cage going to find tuned. It will be to engage onto the back line. That's just the support. Xin Zhao is on Knight, but that's going to be the turnaround with the paranoia. Now the feathers from the pullback, the multi-root. The Kale is pumping with the divine intervention, but it's not going to be enough. The wallet difference so huge here for Wolves. Tooth got away on 1 health as well. Now can turn the fight back around. Grand entrance into the back line. And that might just be the end of the game.
What a feather storm by Zaya there, by the way. Managing to get all the feathers out, pulling it back in, getting a 3-person route. Very, very impressive. And pretty much secured Stormwolves a very effective kind of team fight. A lot of the no respawns coming through just yet. It's looking like they're going to end here.
Nah, GG's coming out. It's
GG.
over. That's game number 2. We've got a full series on our hand, folks.
Wow, and with that, hey, game 2, game 1, we are sitting on 1-1. Brisbane Logic on 1 point. Stormwolves, very, very well played by both teams.
Apologies. Headphones cut out there for a second. Had to switch over to the backup pair. Yeah, this was a bit more what I expected to see from this level of competition, right? Comfort picks, some non-meta stuff, as we do actually have the post-game screen from game 1 there. Now
There
we
we
have
go.
game 2. Yeah, all sorted.
I might have
but-
jumped the bullet there with the screen transfer, but hey, we're here now.
A lot more chaos this time around, a lot more throwing back and forth, and just some good, entertaining Down Under League.
Yeah, very well played there again by Brisbane Logic, with like on ball, like start of the game, Stormwolves getting that snowball going, getting a lot of the weight behind it. Then Brisbane Logic definitely towards, like I said, the 10 minutes to 18-minute mark did put a stop to that snowball. At some one point, we're sitting on, I believe, 7, which then brought it back up to, like, I think 9-7, being 7 towards Brisbane Logic's way. And then Stormwolves took off again, never giving Brisbane Logic that chance to actually get the scaling there and having a presence.
I mean, their game plan just worked out really well, right? The peel was not there from the Logic to keep the Rakan from getting onto the backline, and the disruption that the Mordekaiser and Rakan were able to offer. Ult one carry into the Death Realm, CC chain the other one, and then your carries can free hit. It doesn't matter how well the Kale and the Kai'Sa scale. If the Kale gets dumpstered in lane, can't reach your power spikes, and the Kai'Sa is always getting oppressed, by your dive, then you're going to be able to 5v5. And Stormwolves, they 5v5'd in all the right places, they got all the right objectives, they pushed it through for the game 2 win, and we got the full 3 games on our hand. I'm excited to get to that 3rd game, but I think we are going to take a little break before we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I'll throw that over in just a moment, but I just want to quickly pay attention to the gold difference over time. How, again, it was always in Stormwell's favor, pretty much, at least by about 200 gold, but Brisbane Logic the whole time, even though they were getting, pretty roughed up early, managed to keep that gold difference at least semi-stable, even at the 18-minute mark, finally getting it pulled their hand, and then I believe it was the team fight for Dragon 4, and it just exploded out to 23. I will flick us over to the AFK screen now as we have a quick break, and that sort of. And
We're not drinking toilet water, critically. That is something we have established.
No. Yes, get some water, get some toilet, as Corey said earlier, myself. Righto, we'll see you in a second for game 3.
Oh, man. I'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are done with Game 1, going to the victory on Brisbane Logic's side. Game 2, Stormwolves coming back, showing that they are not out of this series just yet. Taking the victory after a very strong performance against Brisbane Logic in both the early and late game. And here we are going into Game 3 of a best of 3 series with, yeah, just a lot of power. It's Fearless. All the characters that you have seen get played so far, gone.
Ooh, true.
So, yeah. Game 3 kind of draft ups are always fascinating to watch because a lot of the kind of comfortable picks that synergize well have gone through now. So some teams can have this as a strong point. Yeah, exactly, right?
There's some really crazy stuff in Game 3. Because I kind of like the de-evolution of this series so far has been Game 1, I was like, wow, that was surprisingly clean and controlled. That was like very standard, like very high level League of Legends. Game 2, it was messy, but it was not the messiest I've seen at this level of play by far. Like, you know, it made a lot of sense. Like, one team would have an advantage, they'd kind of throw it. One team would have an advantage, they'd kind of throw it. Like, it was back and forth. I've seen much messier games in my time. Game 3, I don't even know what to expect from either of these teams. I mean, there's still a couple of the comfort picks left on the table if we want to go back and take a look again, if we're still waiting for draft, at some of those prep sheets you had up. We can look at what champions might be likely here coming into Game 3, because, I mean, yeah, all bets are off in Game 3 Fearless.
Yeah, so with this one here, we're looking at Brisbane Logic, the top, the jungle, and the kind of laner. What Kale's gone, we've seen that one get played. A lot of Steven Smith's champions are still open here. We've seen Nike with Jarvan 4 and now the Nocturne kind of gone. And then Bronzan's Viger is gone, and yes, it was. So that one's now out the window. So going into the kind of the bot laners now. On anime side, Kais is now gone. I believe it was Ash as well. So pretty a lot of the kind of seeing champions get pulled away from the pool here. And Leona going for Honda Civic, and still a large amount of his pool.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting looking at Anime's pool. Kaisa towards the bottom of the list. Game 1, it was, what, the Ash? So maybe we're going to look towards another utility AD carry. The Jhin at the top of the list still available there. Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to lie to the audience. I'm sure they could notice from a lot of the flubs I was making during the cast of Game 2. My brain's starting to turn to mush. It's 5 in the morning here in North America, but never let it be said that I don't care about casting these games for you guys, because I'm pushing through. We're going the distance. We're going all the way to the end of Game 3. As we're now taking a look at the Wolves, and Tiprat played Scion, so that's one of his top 5. The Mordekaiser are sort of like special surprise, you know, spice pick, but lots of stuff left for Tip.
Yeah, well, Tiprat really kind of played the Mordekaiser in the top lane very, very well here. I wouldn't be surprised going into Game 3 seeing his Shen come out. I have seen him use that one quite often now. It's always a comfortable pick, and if you're going to be playing through your ADC or your mid laner, it's just nice to have. It's a global teleport, also it doubles down as, so very kind of strong picks there. Dax, Ivan is a menace. I've seen it. I've seen the kind of stats and the kind of OPGG history. Very, very, very strong win rate. So I wouldn't be surprised if we could see the Ivan come through. But none of Dak's highest mastery champions are now gone yet. And then Kickman, I believe, has gone on and played the Ari as well as the Hawaii now. So we could be seeing what's left in Yone or a, and towards the bot lane for Stormwolves.
Yeah, so we've seen the Caitlyn come through, And the Zaya not on the list, so but Kaisa unfortunately already played by his opponent in game 2, so that one's going to be off the list. Ash played by his opponent in game 1, so running a little bit thinner for Why Do I Exist there. Seraphine off the table we saw in game 1 as well for Toot, so even if you do go for like the Jinx, like you go for a hyper carry angle, a lot of enchanters off the board. We had Karma gone already, we had Seraphine gone, those are some of the stronger ones, although Nami for Toot, not typically thought of as a Jinx pairing, not like one of those classical Nami lanes. Normally you see Nami with like the same few champions. You see it with Corki and Lucian the most. Every once in a while you might see it with like an Ezreal. But for the most part, Jinx Nami not super compatible, but Enchanter plus Jinx, good combo. Sort of the two highest comfort champions you have left here on the side of the Wolves. I think that might not be a bad one to keep our eyes out for.
Yeah, and then Toot, I believe we've seen the Leona now get locked away. So a lot of champions on Toot side still left open. I can't remember. I think we might have seen this. I think it was Seraphine and Ash. Yes. Thank you. Which is good to see, as I believe we are any second now just about to get through the draft.
Wonderful.
But now, yeah, I'll throw us quickly back to the mission. They're just doing some reorganization in the kind of the lobby queue. Most of the people watching this are also playing. You understand what's going on currently?
Yeah, we've all been around the amateur scene long enough to know the fun things that go on in the pregame lobby and the trolling and the screwing around. It's all part of the fun. It's a grand old time. As yeah, game 3. I do wonder because, like I said, I've been a long time since I've played any competitive. Had my own competitive experience. I used to do our summoner school, like mentor tournaments back in the day, and I did some 3v3, but I do wonder if the players are feeling particularly fatigued after how sort of long chaotic that game 2 was, and if that's going to make the play maybe a little bit more chaotic in game 3, as they're all sort of losing their minds too. We'll just have to wait and find out. We're into the bans. I wonder if we're going to get a third game in a row of just the same bans.
I'm not gonna lie, I fear that will definitely be the case. Time will tell though, but we're seeing the Shogat,
Victor.
Yep, Galio. Yeah, okay, so it's the same bands coming through, which obviously these teams, they just... Oh, Dyra? I think that's a new one. No, it's not. So again, yeah, we're seeing the same bands come through here.
Syndra,
a lot of... Yeah, so nothing too fun to broadcast here, but we do now see the champ selects. Yeah, and Logic electing to stay on red side after losing game 2? Is that how it works in this league? I'm not familiar with the rules document. Is it just one team gets blue side and one team gets red side for the series? Is it loser gets? As it will be Swain. First pick blocked in here for the side of Stormwolves. Ooh, counted out with the Morgana. That was on our list of champions to look out for. Are the champions in the right order? I believe...
Steven Smith is support?
Yeah. No, yeah,
Bronze
I don't know what's happened there.
Bronze on top. I don't know if that's just they were in the wrong order in the lobby or if they're actually role swapping in game 3. Nothing is off the table at this point. We got champions to talk about. We got Smolder and his very upsetting, uncanny face. We've got Wukong. It's a whole lot of exciting stuff happening.
Yeah, I believe they might have just been jumbled up slightly in the kind of champ select thing, so I'm more than certain Steven Smith is probably still in the top. Time will tell, though. I don't know if that messes with the quest system, though. I'm not too sure how that works. We might be seeing maybe a remake, but if this is the way it's going, then, standard stuff. Talia and Wook. I'd love to see Talia. And then Brisbane Logic, Tom Kench. Could be interesting. I would be interested to see. I would safely say that's probably the top lane. Two things taking.
All right, like I said, the Jinx Enchanter pairing coming out for the side of the Stormwolves was something I was very much looking for. great scaling, great team fighting. Just gotta make sure the Jinx doesn't get abused too hard, and if the Smolder is the enemy, then it's just hyper carry versus hyper carry, and you're making that handshake. As they're taking their time deciding on whether it's going to be the Soraka or not, do finally come through with it as... Yeah, that's what I figured. It was flexes aplenty on the side of Brisbane. You know, that Mork could have gone mid, could have gone support, could have gone jungle. Tom Kench could have gone top, could have gone support. Now we will see the Garen that I was talking up at the very beginning in the pre-show before Game 1 that I was so excited to see come through. So, a lot of fun champions. My more analytical side of the brain is more or less completely shut down, so I'm not really sure who I favor moving into Game 3, especially after the chaos of that Game 2.
Yeah, I would argue maybe going into now Game 3, Brisbane Logic has a very strong front line. However, the actual kind of front to back damage dealing, I guess, really only comes from the Molder. I would kind of Bronze on Burn can be very, very strong, but Morgana's Burn could be very strong, but it's I would probably. If I was a betting man, I would put my money on Brisbane Logic's draft, but Cornwall's also still a very, very strong draft. You've got the main strong ults, especially I would nearly said Sorelda's again, but Ryla is, you know, a lot of AoE slow coming in with Dax on the Wukong, another strong one of his champions. I've seen a lot of Dax champions. I haven't seen one that he does poorly on yet, so crossover. Yeah,
taking a second to stare at the draft for a second, kind of let it, you know, seep into the wrinkles of my brain. I will say I think I favor Stormwolves here in Game 3 all series long. I've been talking about get yourself ease of execution, get yourself front to back, get yourself engaged. They have Wukong, WER into the backline, multi-knockup. They have Swain, can very easily catch out and start a fight with the Nevermore. That, you know, that pullback sort of hook claw is E. I think it's called Nevermore.
I think so.
You know, they have methods to start a fight, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas when you look at the side of Brisbane Logic, they have a lot of peel, they have a lot of counter engage. Poppy can stop the Wukong from getting onto you. Tom Kench can eat up your carry. Morgana can black shield your carry. They're probably going to be playing Protect the Smolder, which is not a bad strategy, but in my brain, a Protect the Carry draft always sort of takes with it a little bit more burden of execution than just a straight up, oh yeah, we all just dive in. And we saw that a little bit from Brisbane in last game. It didn't work out for them because their top side bled so much that the game snowballed away before they could really save it, but they were diving on repeat as 3 on the bot side and getting very far ahead. Kaisa, Nocturne, Leona, just all pressing their R's at the same time, diving that tier 1 bot turret. We saw it over and over again. So I always favor just press our R's, go in, face roll on the keyboard, you know, type of drafts in this level of play. But, you know, they surprised me in Game 1. They played a very clean, controlled game. Maybe they have a higher ceiling for these more non-standard drafts than I would have expected. I'm just excited to get into game and see, gosh darn it.
Well, we are on 50 seconds left of the spectator delay, so once that kind of passes through, we should be able to jump us straight into the game. It's looking like another Brisbane Logic going for the long ball here. We've got Molder scaling, and then a lot of the front line with being on the Poppy and the Tom Gench really start showing items that they get. I reckon we're going to see another kind of game where try and push and be aggressive in the early game to be able to stay in control for the later half.
Yeah, it's I'm so sorry. I'm running out of words. It's 5 in the morning. I just want them to start hitting each other so I can say who's hitting who. That's really my talent at the end of the day, is to say X is hitting Y, Z is running away, and the dragon for some reason has still not been started. That's what gets my blood pumping. That's what gets me excited to cast a game of League of Legends. I was never very good at the analysis to begin with anyway.
No, that's fine. Don't worry. It's Game 3. It's ungodly hours for you, and it's pretty late for me. So I think Game 3, to all the people watching, we can maybe take just a little bit of the step back with the kind of pro play type analysis here as we are loading in the game now. Turn that light on. I'm going to immediately turn it back off as it is too much still. So,
I thought it was actually a very good decision for you to turn the light on. I kind of made a poor decision with the mood lighting because it's very dark and very sleepy in here now. I should have had my lights on full blast, trick my brain into thinking it's daytime. I think you were making big brain moves, actually.
Any second we will be in. We're just waiting on the final percentage. No, it's an old game. It's allowed to have some moments of very, very long loading time, so give it just a second.
And you're on that OS server too. I know they're always toasting marshmallows over that thing. I keep dropping the old man references. There's a meme from 2011 that people still use to rag on the EU servers. It's I don't know if you remember Rage comics. Before Wojaks, we had these things called Rage comics. They were meme characters. And it was a little Rage comic guy with a marshmallow over the flaming European West servers. And it was Riot Games headquarters. And it's them just watching the servers burn and toasting marshmallows over it. I'm
Yeah,
so
right.
old.
So I wish I could relate to that, but instead, I can give you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's just a very funny sentiment. I wish I too could be old. Just wait, you will be one day.
Oh, God. But, and with that, boom, we are into game 3. I was gonna say, yeah, I'll be give it 6 more years, and then I can make references to back in 2022, and then boom, it's all set.
Yeah.
Ready.
It is kind of fun to be a crotchety old man, I will say this. Once again, we're going to see the exact same opening, although it's actually a defensive ward on Raptors from Brisbane. This time instead of an offensive ward on the enemy Raptors, so maybe they're looking out for a potential Wukong invade. We'll have to keep our eyes out for that one.
Yeah, it's at least it's a bit of a shake-up, we've seen the exact same bands come through, a lot of the kind of play styles come through being very, very so I'm keen to kind of see how this kind of plays out now. Bit of a skirmish happening in the bot lane. Again, both teams looking to get that level 2 priority. Morgana going up against Natalia in the mid lane. I don't know how that one plays out too much. And then the Garen and the Swain in the definitely have the upper hand here. Just due to the sustain and the ranged, but Stephen Smith also a bit of a menace, so keen to see how he can take control of the top.
Yeah, last game he was a menace to his own team, so I think you're accurate, but might not always swing in the direction we want it to. Hopefully, get a bit of a bounce back on the Garen this time around, as yeah, Tip playing this range game, this sort of spacing game so well on Swain. I'm a top lane man. I'm a dirty range top lane abuser. It actually takes a lot of skill to play range top laners because they're often immobile and can be very heavily set behind by jungle ganks. But yeah, no. Sometimes you see the way Swain can just play at the edges like this and just mess up Garen's day. And you do realize why most people hate playing against range top.
Yeah, exactly. As we can kind of see, again, the kind of Garen steps up to punish, and then...
Oh, it's a knock-up, and the come behind gank. Poppy does have the E available to push back. Why do I exist? Flashing out, flashing onto the Haiti carry for the kill with the hammer comes Nike on the Poppy.
And with that first blood going towards Brisbane Logic, into the Poppy's hands. A nice spot to get the gold, the initial first blood going towards. And we've got Dragon up in about 2 minutes, so maybe see the teams reset, take a bit more gold, and start getting down on. Well, just pretty much about 2 minutes of make some crazy play here, but that's pretty standard across the board here.
Yeah, and Nike lost a little bit of clear speed, going for that gank, but getting your bot lane hyper carry ahead, very, very important when it's hyper carry versus hyper carry, so going to take that as well worth it. Going to fall behind about 2 camps to the side of Dax, who did come in and manage to steal some away, but things looking good in the early game here for the Logic, and yeah, like you said, it's going to be a lot of waiting for that next snap engage to happen.
Yeah, Anime managing to kind of poke out to health, which it is a Soraka, so she's able to heal herself as well as a teammate quite a lot, so more or less a chunk out of the mana bar if you want to look at it that way. Bronzon returning back towards Hatchet before it crashes. Just kind of looking around for a bit of action or fun happening at the moment. Not really finding any.
I will say, because it seems to me in this series we've kind of turned it into the opinions show when there's not much happening and we can just sort of offer our trite commentary on whatever we wish. I love Morgana mid. What a classic pick. I love just dropping the pool and clearing the wave. Very, very satisfying. Always happy. That's one of the things too, is I love off meta. I love pocket picks. And this level of competition always so great for seeing exactly that. So big shouts outs to Bronzon on the Morg mid here. Always fun to see.
It really, really is. There's a sense of dopamine that comes from watching a Morgana land a root, drop the pool, and watching someone go to 50% health in like one long extended non-move combo. It's just entertaining, especially burn items start making their way on and like coming through. Like you said, watching champions get played in lanes that they're not really meant to be played in or aren't commonly played in at the very least, like the Morgana and the Swain. It's just entertaining.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the case at the moment, but I do remember, one, having checked this myself in the past because I'm a big fan of the Morg mid, but also seeing a short. Never mind. Let me put the anecdote on hold. We have a gank coming through. It's Tip a little bit far forward. Here comes Nike. Does have the 6 though. Can pop the Crow Storm, and it will go out, but very low on mana. The silence and the flash looking to turn it back around though. The Nevermore does land. Draining, tanking. Is that's going to be the Unraveled Earth coming in from behind. Kickman here to back up the play. Will find Nike in the shove into the stones, but it will be the Audacious Charge back in return as Garen was almost about to turn that. Nike is going to run, but he can't survive, and that is 2 kills going over to Wolves in the extended fight.
Very well played there by the Talia wall coming in, cutting off, locking the Garen and the Poppy in a forced engage. Looks like Poppy had done the wall smash a little bit too early and actually knocked Tiprat past the wall into the arm. Which the stun could have spelled a very different story there, but because that would have probably done enough damage for maybe the Garen to be able to expand it onto the lane. But again, good fight in the top lane. Good to see walk out of that with more gold in their hands. Stephen Smith, like you said, being a menace. To which team yet? We are yet to decide.
It was close. Almost turned that round on the Tip in a way that I did not expect, but this is something that we're going to start to see that is so unfortunate about the top lane situation this season is Tip has found that XP advantage, hit the 7 first, and we saw it happen last game. These level advantages can get really out of control really quickly in top lane with that enhanced XP coming through from the quest. Is now setting up the freeze, or at the very least the slow push, is Tip just very brazenly in the face of that wave saying, yeah, try and stop me from holding this wave. I will punish you for it, and Stephen Smith is punished indeed.
Yeah, wow, Tiprat really being able to dish out quite a lot of the damage there, and that's going to really get agonizing when Rylai's does eventually come through. I'm not too sure if that is going to be the build there, but, kind of time will tell. Looks like Brisbane Logic, they might be posturing towards the dragon now. Runs on getting an auto out, and yeah, Brisbane Logic getting onto the dragon.
Yeah, now they do pink out the ward in the pit as well. Nobody really approaching, so it's just going to be Wolves saying, yeah, alright, go ahead, have your fun, have that one. we will be back for our revenge at some point or another. Up on the top side, we've seen Wolves with great priority over Grubs all series, and they're going to do it again. Take the Scuttle, get on to the Grubs, and now this one's going to be uncontested. It's the ping pong of objectives, it's the handshake, it's the trade, it's whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's a smart kind of, again, I think we've seen this now 3 games in a row, whereas, like, I believe Brisbane Logic consistently gets the first Dragon of the game, but then Dax across the other side of the map shakes hands. Alrighty, well, if you're getting Dragon, let's go for Void Grubs, and yeah, we'll make the handshake. We'll make, and it's pretty. It suits the team's kind of nature very, very well.
Yeah, and other than that, things again playing out more or less in a similar pattern as we saw in game number 2, where it's a slight advantage for the bot lane of Brisbane here. You know, those Dragon practice stacks are building up on anime, up to 65 at this point. But why do I exist actually is the only one of these two AD carries with the Cull, so really hard committing to the scaling on the Jinx, and I think it's going to pay dividends to sort of keep pace with the infinite scaling of the Smolder.
Yeah, exactly. The Cull kind of coming out, understanding that, okay, like, let's maybe just play this out for the long kind of game, get to 100 PS, and then start looking for a very good, like, strong position fights from as Dax comes to gank the Garen, but nothing going to come to fruition.
Yeah, the angle wasn't quite there. The Eye of Empire was nicely placed to try and corral Steven Smith, but now it's the roam all the way up top lane from the Kench. Honda doing the bait brush, going to find the Abyssal Voyage, going to find the knockup. That is the spin to win on top of Tip, who gets eaten up, gobbled and spit and burst by the R from Steven Smith.
Very nicely played there by Brisbane Logic. Dax in the bush, but really not being able to do much by the time that kind of responded to the fight. Tiprat had already been ace and was getting walked away. Understanding can't really save Tiprat there, so just walked away and left the Swain to perish there. Bit of a kind of presence in the lane here. Nike looking to maybe go and invade the enemy jungle as Morgana pushes in. Oh.
Yeah. Things just slowing back down, you know, back to that sort of neutral state. But that was one of my favorite interactions we actually just got to see showcased up there in that top lane skirmish, is when Tahm Kench eats somebody with an AoE ability ticking and it just keeps going. Swain was in his belly, draining all 3 of them. If you get fed enough, it's actually funny. I've been on the reverse end of that interaction where you get eaten by a Swain, you get spit out, and you're higher health because you've just been draining off of people. Very, very cool. Very, very fun stuff. But
I could see a little bit of a, like, anti kind of synergy amongst Brisbane Logic later on towards that, but...
Oh my god, Han's up here again! It's going to be the run-in, the support top lane gank, the Abyssal Voyage from behind. Tip gets tagged up with 1, the Tongue Lash does go wide, won't connect. Dax here to back up the play, but so is Bronzon on the Morgana. Here comes the Unraveled Earth to follow. It will be Kickman with the stones down. The Fling finds 1, but not 2. It will be the first one to go. The Jinx Rocket won't connect, but it will be the Wolves cleaning it up. They brought the members this time around. Tip had his backup.
Well played to the Stormwolf. Very good, nice setup. I would be pretty angry if I, like, Tiprat, like, came out of that ahead. Stormwolves won that one out, but getting double ganks within a minute by the enemy support, probably not too good for the mental. I'm glad that they managed to win and walk away from that one nicely, as Nike going in at Tiprat low mana.
Yeah, Tiprat no mana. Nike chasing, has the hammer, but not really the damage to back up making the use of it worth it. And now Dax is here. Nike in a straight line. Will the Nevermore come out to bring him back? Nope. All good. Everything is well.
Just a bit of a fight, you know, a bit of a skirmish. No one, it's pretty early. No one really has the kind of damage yet. We're only starting to see the first items come through here.
Yeah, as the root will connect, and it was the attempted follow-up from Honda there, but not quite a long enough CC chain for that long Abyssal Voyage to come through. Will be the shove of the wave. I think the cannon denied there as well with some plate gold. So all in all, not a bad exchange for Bronzon. Really getting their push on now as that Faded Ashes has come through, really going to aid the wave clear. The Lost Chapter, meaning you can spam without running out of mana. This Morgana getting to where they want to be.
Yeah, Stephen Smith again managing to take the plate, but Brett responding. Dragons up. They might be looking for a fight here as Brisbane Logic begins.
Yeah, they're pinched in. Members on both sides. It's a 4v4. Anime going towards the banana brush. They're trying to stay and finish it. It will be the flip, and it will be the secure as now the turnaround onto the Jinx. The Abyssal Voyage behind, just well placed from Honda all over the place. Flashing the mastery on the TK. Really putting on a clinic with the roams as well.
Yeah, it's impressive plays by Brisbane Logic to at least, even though they're behind in the kind of the kills, they've now walked with 2 dragons here. Not to, again, Stormwolves does have the 3 Void Grubs and at the 0.6 place. So, bit of fight happening in the bot lane. They missed it.
Yeah, Dax finding the Cyclone onto Anime, forcing the flash. That will be the Divine Intervention coming through from Soraka. The heals means no danger for Dax, even with Nike there to back it up. Return kill there for the Wolves. And, yeah, things continuing to stay in their way in terms of the gold. This is a reference that, again, I don't know how much Pro we watch, but this is a little bit more within your time. I don't remember what year it was. Maybe 2021. Honda on this Tom Kench reminding me a lot of Core JJ. That's one of Core JJ's signature champs. And there was one year, I think it was 2021, where literally no other support was doing this. Core would just reset, and out of every single reset, run top lane. Just over and over again until the crap out of the enemy top laner. And that's kind of what we're seeing from Honda here in this game, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. It's great psychological warfare. We're used to getting ganked by junglers in the top lane, but we're not used to supports.
Yeah, a large part of like kind of League of Legends, especially how you can really affect how a player, executes their skills if you can manage to tilt them, to be fair. But it's nice presence that Tom Kench pretty much on rotation making their way to Giprat to help Stevens out. Has backfired the last 2 times, as we can kind of see that he might be going towards top. I was going to say he's pretty much tethered to Anime here. Looks like Stormwolves going to start on the Rift Herald, and they will take it.
Yeah, I think they're 6 for 6 on Grubs and Heralds in this series, so good for them. Tip, a little bit invisible in that first game, but huge carry performance in the second game, and a very strong position here in the third, and using that top lane priority well. But now in the 1v3 situation, out comes the drain. The Abyssal Voyage is going to find the knock-up, and that's just going to be the execute. Actually, Tip living for a really long time. The Eye of Empire finding the double heal, plus the drain, the flash from Nike will find the stun back to the top lane. It will be the Soraka heal as well, keeping Tip going. It's going to have to be the Gobble coming out defensively, and Tip lives. Oh, it's such a tilter in the rocket. Just barely doesn't get Stephen Smith. Are the cooldowns there for Tip? No, he's not going to chase it up. It's going to be the Eye of Empire canceling the back, the Hex Flash from Nike to run away. Oh, that's so demoralizing. As in the meanwhile, Anime died on the bot side.
Pretty. I don't know what happened there. Honestly, it was a bit. The Tiprat managing to survive that, and like no kills on Tiprat's side there, but very, very close to being able to kill the Garen with the Jinx rocket coming in. Very, very impressive. Smolder. 2 fights happening at once. I can't split it. So sorry about that.
If I'm Garen in this game and that sequence just happened, I'm not spamming FF because I'm a positive player. I am not a negative player. I don't negative gaming. But I might be thinking to myself, FF15, FF15, FF15. As we will see Honda going for another engage, really trying to be the engine driving this team forward in this game, but the Talia zone control is going to keep him from pursuing it any further. Tom Kench doing their best as it will actually be first turret, or rather, not first turret, but first top lane turret going to the Brisbane Logic.
Yeah, again, Stephen Smith kind of really, across the games, I guess, it's kind of becoming evident that his playstyle and his kind of win con is a lot of side lane pressure. To split lane, push in a lane, have someone respond, and leave the rest of the team to maybe make a good engage here, as it looks like a fight nearly breaks out. Yes.
It was Anime and Nike trying to, as that was a good keeper's verdict, to
It was, yeah. Wow.
Bounce away Dax on the instant W trade there, but yeah, they were fishing for a dive, it looked like, was the bot side of Brisbane Logic, but Soraka was just too close, you know, sort of thwarted that one before it had a chance to get off the ground, and forced to be on the back foot again. It will be Steven Smith sort of splitting in the top lane as this Drake does come down and spawn, so we'll see how Logic chooses to play this. Are they going to bring the Garen back down with that quest TP? No, he doesn't have it, so it's basically, alright, concede the Drake, try and grab a tier 2.
Yeah, it looks like Talia does respond to Garen pushing in the T2 tower, though. Which that means Talia's teleport is gone. Dragon going towards Stormwolves there. Kind of refusing Brisbane Logic the ability to get onto Soul Point already. Could probably be looking at a Baron in a minute. I don't think either team is in a position to be able to just force a Baron. Stormwolves with a 3,000 gold lead, though, that is definitely comfortable. Significant amount of that gold is onto the... We're looking at a 2.4 gold lead up against the Poppy now. 2-item lead in accompaniments. And yeah, pretty much just Stormwolves getting swathes of gold in ahead.
Yeah, it's it feels like the pendulum has swung all the way around. Game 1, kind of a stomp for the side of the Logic. Game 2, pretty back and forth. You know, one side of the team was hard winning for one team, or one side of the map was hard winning for one team, the other for the other team. Game 3 now, though, it feels like maybe it's the Stormwolves' chance to stomp. Maybe they have gotten their warm-up, they've eased into the series, sort of warmed up as the games went on, as we see a little bit of a Fnatic Death Brush coming through from the Logic. I think Kickman smells a little bit, but not well enough, because that's the Abyssal Voyage, as Honda once again finds a big engage. The Keeper's Verdict does knock away the AD carry, but it won't result in the kill. They just don't have the damage to carry forward with these finds, as now Dax on to the enemies with the Cyclone, knock them up. Mom trying to keep them from getting killed, but it's not going to work, as the Eye of Empire will force Anime into the choke. Dax continuing to chase, has no CC left, but has a red buff. Is that Playful Trickster going to come out? It's the slight slow, it's the Q on top of the enemy AD carry. Does Smolder have the capability to deal with this? Dodges out with a nice flap over the wall, doesn't get hit by the rocket, actually baits the flash out of Tip. But all in all, still not a great position for the Logic.
No, they seem to be kind of losing control of the game now. We're approaching a 4k gold lead on towards the Stormwolves here. Morgana during that did manage to take a tower, which is still a nice little bit of a gold back into the hands, keeping it away from that 4k gold lead. Stormwolves looking just to take the enemy jungle, neglects getting Nike the chance to get any kind of gold unless he wishes to go towards his bot side. Very, very nicely played here by kind of both teams here. We'll have a quick peek at the goal graph currently. As you can kind of see, is Stormwolves doing very, very nice pretty much across the whole game from the 5-minute mark onwards. And then at the damage graph, a lot of damage coming through from the Wukong as well as the Swain as the fight breaks out mid.
Here comes the dive, it's the flash stun into the root. The CC chain finds its target. True, that time there was no Soraka nearby to help the Jinx out, but Nike taking a lot of turret damage means a W in into the Cyclone. It will be the Soul Shackles coming out from the Morgana. Now the Weaver's Wall into the back row. Oh, it will be Kickman finding the two-man flip, but the damage is still coming forward from the Brisbane Logic, as I believe we put the caster curse onto the Wolves, and I sincerely apologize.
And like that, we cast our hexes again to put cross the players. It was, yeah, unfortunately Stormwolves getting ran down there. Very nice fight by Brisbane Logic as they open up to the Baron. It is, I believe, Hunter Baron again, so it does have a lot of damage onto it, so...
I mean, Tip is tanky. Tip has a lot of damage. Might be a chance for the Swain to come in. It's half health bars, but nope. Keeper's Verdict says, "Be gone, foul demon. We shall not deal with your Crow Storm today. We shall take the Baron for ourselves," as the Rocket was real close to stealing it there, but not quite close enough. Tip might find one in the back end. If Honda can die to let the rest of his team get away, that's probably going to be a good situation for the Logic. They'll take up the Abyssal Voyage. Gets zapped, won't be the way out. It will be one kill on the back end, but still 4 purple buffs left on the Rift for the Logic.
Very brave of Poppy to go for the Baron. Didn't actually have Smite up that for taking it. Doesn't
Yeah, the Cyclone into the spell shield, into the root. Bronzon just kind of walks that one off.
Yeah, not too much able to come from this currently. Tiprat pushing in the top lane, taking T1 tower from Brisbane Logic. And just a bit of a skirmish as people are trying to fight in the jungle and refuse each other kind of gold.
Yeah, Dax did take the blue smite, so very fast, especially with that Scryer's Bloom giving him the movement speed buff. So fishing around, trying to position, especially with this Drake coming up, trying to, you know, really jockey for the vision. So we'll see if this purple buff is enough to make the difference in this fight. We got the TPs coming in, we're gathering around, but the Chemdrake just goes down too fast. So that is 2 Chemdrakes, but Toot going to be stride breakered, and yeah, that's Garen gameplay. That's real fun. The spin to win takes out the Soraka. And the Logic just continue to find kill after kill here.
Nice to see the, I hope they never rework Garen. There's something just funny about watching him go into a team and just spin as a fight looks like to break out in the mid lane.
Oh, nice Unraveled Earth coming down onto Animator. That's a big shutdown is now tipped in the midst of things, but once again the Keeper's Verdict saying, no, 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 you don't. Honda, do they make it out? They do! Once again, by the skin of their teeth, with that Protoplasm Harvest, does the Tom Kench escape, and yeah, I mean, we pointed out as we were getting into this game, lots of good peel, lots of good disengage on the side of the Logic, and it wasn't working out for them well until it got to that point where they managed to pick the Jinx first, get a fight with uneven numbers, and just deny any other carry, and they've been taking the momentum from that mid-fight through for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, like Brisbane Logic, well played. I'm just going to pull this up. They just managed to pull a 4,000 gold lead down to a net neutral. Very, very impressive kind of plays there by Brisbane Logic to reap back all that kind of gold lead back towards them. Objective-wise, very neutral as well. 22 plates against the on Brisbane Logic's, 20 plates on to Stormwolves. Void Grubs are still on Stormwolves' side, but the Dragons are very equal. Could go any way currently. Let's have a quick peek at Smolder's stacks too. He's sitting on 230 currently.
Yeah, so has the execute, you know, is fully leveled through with the bonuses there. Stacking from here is a little bit more superfluous than it used to be. Still gives a little bit of an advantage, but it doesn't increase the execute threshold like it used to. And now, with the Phase Rush, with the Stride Breaker, Phantom Dancer, even with the Rylai's, Tip is not in a position to bully Steve Smith as much as they were in the past. As look at that, the Q, the spin, the win. Not going to cut through the health bar, but going to continue to be very annoying.
Yeah, and every kind of skirmish that does occur like that, Steven Smith walks off and then boom, passive kicks in, healing for like 30 health every half a second. So, and he's already full health, even from that small little engage with Tiprat. So, a lot of the side lane pressure coming through from Steven Smith here as Dax and Kickman, again, going into the enemy jungle to try and take any camps that they can. Trying to, what do you call it? Stop Nike from getting any form of comfortable gold lead back.
Yeah, it's at that time of the night, folks. Give us some grace. We're forgetting some words. It happens, but thankfully, the action of the games is more than entertaining enough to make up for the fact that your casters are falling asleep a little bit. Especially this game. This has been a good one. This is a nice way to cap it all off. I am just waiting for that next big team fight to sort of, I think, spell the direction this game is going to go, right? We're approaching that 30-minute mark. If you remember, Game 1 was already over by 27 minutes. As, again, looking for a Death Brush is the logic there. Big fan of that play, but we're doing it on Vision that time around. But yeah, it feels like we're getting to the point where the next fight is really going to decide the way this whole shebang goes.
Yeah, it looks like maybe we could be seeing something any second. We do have Dragon up in a minute 20, so teams probably shouldn't be looking for a all-in team fight just yet. But they do manage to push Wolves off the Dragon pit. Brisbane Logic maybe looking to open up for some Vision, as currently when that kind of Vision code goes away, they don't really have much. A fight happening in the top lanes.
It's wave ping pong. These champions don't die. Garen has
Uh,
the perseverance. Swain. Oh wait, no, Swain did die.
Yes, Swain did die. That's
I
the thing.
thought
I don't know
I
when
thought
that
he
happened.
disappeared because I thought he disappeared because he went into the brush. That's about the level my brain is operating on at this point.
That's fine. Yeah, I sorry I missed that one, chat. But
You're
if I was to have a guess, Garen's spin to win, then altered, screaming justice, and that was the end of Swain.
Yeah, there's only so many ways a Garen fight goes, right? But it's a 5v4 on the map for the next 10 seconds, and Steven Smith may be going a little too far. Dax really wants it, but not going to continue forward. Unfortunately, no counterplay coming out from the Wolves, so this will be the sole point Drake for whichever team claims it. And in 10 seconds, Logic will be here first. Deep vision in the enemy jungle. Lots of control all around the pit. Just waiting for the approach of the Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves not really having any vision. Farsight alterations coming down onto the Dragon Pit, but Control Wards taking out the vision. Looking for a bit
Yeah,
of
Battle Lines cast. Nike with the Deadmans with the W finds the stun onto the already half health of Toot. That's going to be the ult. The redemption comes down. Nike very low. Nobody going down as of yet. Toot on 1 health will finally fall down. Tip into the back with the flash. Gets the AoE slow. Gets the drain. Steven Smith trying to answer it back, but he is just getting rylized to death. Once again, this game is swung back in the other direction as Honda is forced to run for the hills. Flash for the cone. It is now the 3v4 on the map, but that's the seismic shoving to the unraveled earth. Going to force the jungler back. Nike no health. 80 carry down. The Smolder has been slain. That's Soul Point moving over to the Wolves.
Not Soul Point just yet though, but we are on the you're sorry, you are correct. My bad. It's late. My brain's slowly dying. We are officially on Soul Point now. Yeah, very well played by Stormwolves there, looking at the 1,200 gold lead. 3 Chem Drakes there going onto their side. Very, very, very impressive. I will take a quick look at the damage graph of everybody now. A lot of damage coming through from the Wukong, accompanied by the Swain, Talia, and the Jinx. All pretty fleshed out across the board. And then, like we said, on Brisbane Logic's side, Smolder being pretty much the main damage dealer Brisbane Logic. Still though, very impressive that Garen and Morgana are able to kind of semi-keep up, sitting on about 15k both ways now.
Yeah, I think the problem for Brisbane Logic is that, you know, their successes come in picks, right? Or solo kills. Steve Smith just killed Swain in the top lane, gave them some tempo to get to the Drake and set up vision, but once it was 5v5 again, their comp just has a hard time finding the opposing hypercarry, right? When they picked out Jinx to begin with and turned into a 4v5, they easily took the fight, but they just don't have easy engage. I mean, Honda has put on a real class in using Kench in a way it wasn't designed, by hitting a lot of these blind abyssal voyages, by making it look like an engaged champion, but really they have no easy way to lock down the targets they need to. They have a counter-engage comp, and unfortunately, it's just not doing what they need it to do. And with the Baron back up and available here, we'll see how the team fight around it goes. Maybe Steve Smith can find another thing down here in the bot lane, but Tip playing a little bit more respectfully this time.
Yeah, again, Steven Smith kind of coming into the lane, pushing it in, and then backing off out of vision just to kind of see how the enemy team is going to kind of respond. Playing pretty much a lot of chess here. Staying out of vision, but now sees the Dax is there and is probably going to make his way out. Jungle position is confirmed, so they go for Baron.
Yeah, they see the jungler on the bottom side of the map. As you point out, it's a perfect time to try and take a risk. There is vision on it. Now the pink comes down, blocking them out, so it will be blind as Kickman trying to move up, trying to find a big seismic shove. Won't connect onto Bronzon, who saves the spell shield. That's an easy take as the rocket damn near found the steal. Now charging up the Keeper's Verdict, as it's going to be a 5-man clump and a runaway. And I think the Logic are good here. Nobody on their flank. They can use those empowered recalls to get on out of the dodge.
Yeah, it's probably best. They've taken the Baron, they've got their objective. Make your way out, do a reset, get the items that you need, return to your lanes, and prepare for a massive siege down. Tiprat, again, looks like pushing out the bot lane so it can kind of crash in towards the middle, and then we're looking at ARAM from the looks of it, as most of the team walks it down mid, minus Steven Smith, again, looking for that side lane pressure.
I mean, the Garen's just so impossible to kill in the side lane, right? So fast at this point, so much percent movement speed on the kit. Level 20, people forget, base stats all have growth, right? Your movement speed has base stat growth, so top laners at level 20 gonna be faster than most people on the Rift too, as that's gonna be the mid-tier 2 siege down, and not quite, but things are looking a little bit dire.
This next wave, I would definitely see this this tower falling. Again, just a quick jump over here. Stephen Smith kind of giving the pressure onto that the cannons and sieging down against Tiprat here. As we make our way back towards the mid lane. Yeah, they're just kind of, they're going to use the cannon minions and get what they do, and then between the kind of cannon, the wave is going to look for some jungle camps. Stephen Smith retreating the moment the enemy team kind of disappeared from that.
Even with the Baron power play for the Logic, right? It's not like the gold has exploded in their favor. It's still very even. It was just a smart snap call for them to say, hey, we see Wukong, kill this Drake, or this Baron rather. So, I mean, this thing can still go either way. It's a dicey proposition. This game is sitting on a knife's edge right now.
Yeah, and it's like, Stephen Smith's map awareness needs to be studied. Because, oh, our way in. Okay, no fight breaking out just yet, but every single time that one of these people starts disappearing, like they watches Dax start walking down towards the bot, Stephen Smith would instantly walk back and just stay out of vision until he knows where Dax is. Very impressive map awareness, as then Brisbane Logic goes in on Dax, standing on vision.
Yeah, only found the clone so far, but it will be Stephen Smith into the back line, really chunking down Tip. Now the Mom over the top, but it's not going to find any kills yet. Tip going down a lot quicker than I think he had hoped, as the Redemption will come in. Dax, all the way in the back, has the GA as well, so we'll get another chance on that Cyclone. The rocket comes through, but nobody has fallen just yet on the side of the Logic. Lots of low health bars. Who will go first? It will be Nike on the Poppy taken out. It's the 1-0 so far, as Honda makes their way out with the Abyssal Voyage. And a lot of cooldowns exchanged, a lot of fist fighting, a lot of sweet, sweet chin music, but no huge advantage for either side yet. But it will be the Drake startup as well. It's the fight that never ends, as this will be soul point, or rather soul, over to the Wolves if they can claim it. Soul point for the Logic if they can find their way in, but it's just so impossible without their jungler, the poke, the range, the seismic shoving the unraveled earth, but gobbled up and saved by Honda. Now Dax going way deep as one kill comes through. Anime going to run out through the side brush, going to try and find a cheeky recall. As now Bronzon is reset on the map, trying to protect their support, maybe trying to find something in return, but no, they just can't do it. Soul claimed for the Wolves. Fight won by the Wolves.
What a bloodfest that was. I think that was like pretty much a 1 whole minute of near permanent fighting. Very, very impressive play by Storm Wolves there. No gold lead going either way. Both teams are currently equal in terms of gold.
Yeah, it's
however,
still even.
I know. I don't know how. This game makes no sense to me. It's like, in terms of individual gold though, top lane 3K going on to Garen. I was not expecting that one. And then nearly a 4K gold lead heading onto the Wukong here. And then Smolder with a 1,300 gold lead, accompanied by all the kind of the stacks that he's managed to get. Let's have a quick peek at that now. Sitting on 337.
Yeah, I mean, the Garen, I think, has 4 solo turret takes in his back pocket, so it makes sense why the money is there for Stephen Smith. Just a terrible, terrible mistake of a champion. I think it's fair to say. I know you were taking up the contrary position earlier. That's fine. I appreciate your opinion. I don't understand it, but I appreciate it. I hold the opposite. Delete Garen from the game.
Yeah, no, look, okay. Facing against a Garen, I am in agreement, but since I don't play League much anymore and I mainly am sitting here on watching it, very entertaining to watch, not very entertaining to face against.
This is a place where me being an unk kind of like benefits me, because I can tell you something interesting that I'm gonna guess you don't know. Did you know at one point Garen and Yuumi were a meta bot lane that were played at the World Championship together? Garen AD carry with a Yuumi on him, because Garen passive and Yumi heals just meant you couldn't poke him out of lane, and then later Yumi made him super fast and just did Garen things to people. Fantastic times.
That is, I can picture it. I don't like it. I do not like what I'm picturing. That would be just the ability of like the Yumi kind of movement speed, a lot of the healing, and just the full run in, but it looks like...
Nah, we're good, we can keep yapping about Garen.
Yeah. Baron has now spawned now, there it is, which is good to kind of see, so both teams might be looking to make a fight. Brisbane Logic on the control ward in the bush, but has been picked up by Dax's vision cone. Yeah, Garen Yumi bot lane. I'm glad that's gone.
This is where I'm going to be the annoying kind of old person. I'm going to complain. Because Brisbane Logic, they love a death brush. They love that classic Fnatic strategy of all sitting in one brush and waiting for somebody to overextend. Back in my day, we didn't have stupid Scryer's plants or Fey lights. We didn't have any of these cheap free visions. Our supports had to buy their wards, and death brushes worked, and they were exciting, and they were fun. I think Brisbane Logic is like 1 for 8 on death brush attempts in this game. Bring back the death brush. Gosh darn it.
I am absolutely in agreement with that one. In the kind of parrot patch in current season, I feel like you've got the vision cones around the map, and now you've also got the things like here, where you drop the ward in that kind of like golden circle, and then boom, you can see half a jungle. It's very like inflated, I guess, or in terms of vision currently, but it has kind of killed the death brush, and just everyone hiding in a single bush, and then before you know it, they explode as...
Nike onto Dax, not going to mean anything though. That GA back up, even if they had found a 1 health bar, they would have still had to get the second, as we're about to hit 40 minutes. I see blue tree on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 champions. I hope they all went Gathering Storm. Big stomps in this game. As I thought maybe a Baron would get started up, but we don't have the luxury of that. I think this late into game 3, strategy goes out the window, logic goes out the window, everybody's scared to do anything, and things are just going to kind of devolve into chaos until all of a sudden something just happens and the game ends. As Nike walking up aggressive. Saraga gonna heal that back. Chemtech Soul means increased healing on everybody. Something will happen, I believe. I believe that something will happen.
Yeah, we're at a point in the game where a single death can set you back pretty much nearly a minute now. Reading a funny message in chat with imagine a best of 5 as we approach now a 40-minute game. Yeah, it's like, again, it's just a lot of these teams, they want every single odd to be stacked in their favor before they choose this fight. They want every advantage that they can, so a lot of the kind of things here, they don't really want to engage on it unless they can isolate kill 1 or 2 beforehand. Steven Smith, again, pushing in kind of side lanes, keeping Dirty
I think maybe
Rat
a fight mid, maybe?
Preoccupied,
No, they were just sniffing each other. Okay, Elder's up. They have to fight for this. Steven Smith on the flank, Deadman's fast as hell, stride breaker, but the redemption from Dax means didn't do nothing. Flash for nothing.
Yeah.
TP's in. Let's do it all again tomorrow. Dirty Tip Rat. Flash. Where's the soul check? Only finds Steven Smith, who gets the way out. Not going to do anything. The binding, the dark binding onto the clone. Something will happen. Somebody will die. The health bars, half on the side of the Wolves, a little bit lower on average than on the side of the Logic. Civic walking up once again, going to find the tongue lash, but not much more follow-up. Kickmen waiting around. Can we find a big seismic shove to get things started here? To continuing to use that health bar as a battery to pour into the teammates, but might have to go for the reset. No Warmogs, nothing to top themselves back off, as Nike was on the Elder looking for maybe some sort of start. Now it will be Logic first onto the Elder. They have control. That's going to be the Scryer's going to find the vision. Farside Alteration comes down. Toot still hang around. No reset to be found yet. Tip over the wall. Gets tongue left. That'll be the zap. holding the line is the side of Logic. Another far side alteration. Now Dax around the back, maybe looking for a steal, looking to go over with the playful Trickster, gets exhausted. Civic doing what they can. Smith on to Tip Rat, but will get shoved away. The Eye of Empire to find the zone, and now it's Dax in for the steal on the Elder Dragon. Finds the 5-man Cyclone, and that should be all she wrote as the 1v5 moment. That's gotta feel so good for Dax. It's not quite the full wipe, but surely they win it off the back of this.
Wow, oh my, that was crazy. That fight lasted bloody ages. Very impressive of a kind of a stall out there. I actually, in my head, watching this fight, Brisbane Logic, I thought was definitely going to manage to push out Storm Wolves, but it kind of just turned back into Storm Wolves' favor here, and with that,
dude, the
we
redemption
probably see the
cooldown
end.
is back. That's how long that fight. As Kickman taking tower aggro, a little bit dangerous, but they're just pushing through. There's nothing that the Logic can do here. Anime trying to free hit, but slowed up so much. The execute finds the GA as the Nexus will go down. Storm Wolves with the reverse sweep.
It's over. Wow, that was a long game. That was so fun to watch, though. That across that kind of entire fight. Storm Wolves.
Yeah, that last sequence was high quality. I really enjoyed that.
No, that was incredible. Managing to get pretty much a team fight out for like genuinely 3 minutes. That was something I didn't exactly have on my bingo card here. As let's quickly peek over at the endgame stats now. As here we go. So 44. Well, yeah, pretty much a 44-minute game. Wow, look at that smolder damage. 52,000, that's crazy. And the gold lead, heavily in Storm Wolves' way at the pretty much around the 20-minute mark, and then one team fight, boom, and it was neutral for another 20 minutes. Very, very impressive.
Crazy, crazy game 3. Absolutely wonderful series. Thank you to both the teams for putting on that wonderful exchange. I had a great time. I hope they did as well. That had some nice ups and downs, that entire series. However, it is now time for us to hit the hay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the O's Backyard League Division 2 again this Sunday. We will return on Friday, I believe, at 7 p.m. AEDT. Look out. That's still yet to be scheduled and finalized, but you can look for around the same time we've been live the last couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and I hope to see you guys again soon.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, congratulations. Well played to Storm Wolves and Brisbane Logic. And with that, we'll catch you next time.